Hello everyone, today I play Cognition episode 4, The King Killer, but this time with developer commentary. Right, and I'll be skipping through most of the dialogue, just so it doesn't get too long.
Previously on Cognition.
I'm sorry, Eric. You're gonna hate me for saying this, but I think I could have stopped Scott's death.
Wait, what? And you kept this from me?
Excuse me, you took the flowers from my brother's grave.
Oh, I'm so...
Don't sweat it.
When did your brother die?
About 6 years ago.
Scotty died 3 years ago.
Finally, you get your ass down here.
My ass was busy closing Scott's file.
You are what some people call a Cymon. If you can see the past, is it so strange that you should start seeing the future as well?
But if this piece of shit was murdered last night, done in the same way that he killed his victims, then who killed him?
How the hell is Davies dead and her killer not apprehended?
Sully! It's Sully's... What the hell is going on? Who's doing this? And how do they know about me?
I knew you'd make it here. I've been waiting for you to show up. Years. You're about to find out how alike we really are. Please, Erica. Don't disappoint me.
I'm here to inform you that Ms. Smith wants you to make yourself at home here. But of course, you wouldn't have gotten in here if she didn't want it.
She saw me.
I can't see you anymore, but I know you're there.
This one has a second name on it. Jeff Therian. Who's that?
I passed out because I saw it. It was you getting killed, Max.
Your brother there is going to be talking to a judge if he can't explain the situation.
I feel like I'm failing.
Jeff has all the money. You make sure of that. I'm calling those agents.
I'll kill you before I let that happen!
Jeff Therian. He's Gorobius' son. This is the guy that murdered Scott? Max!
Only one of us can leave this place alive. Do not rest until he's put behind bars.
I'm sorry, Eric.
Did you kill your brother, Miss Smith?
Yes. Yes, I did.
So hey everybody, we're now on episode 4.
Welcome to episode 4.
Yes. Episode 4 was, I would say that was a little bit problematic on how we came up with it because Katie was initially tasked, we were going to write it between the two of us, and she was tasked with like coming up with the first sequences and how it was all coming together. And I remember we talked about a lot of, different ways of how it's going to be. At one point we were going to even bring like Robert back. And we were going to be like looking into the people that were affected by these killings. And then there was going to be like, because we know that we wanted to get to the lake house. And then there was a question of how do we get to the lake house? We were going to do it through like, Cordelia having left some clues to Erica on how to get there, etc. But then that was just like, it felt too much. And one of the goals of episode 4 was just to like be a straightforward, fast-paced adventure.
I think the point was to sort of limit the amount of exploration and investigation in favor of stuff that was more like set piece based.
Yeah.
And for my part, I was dealing with the tail end of episode 3, so I just hear Katie say, "Hey, I'm going off and I'm going to work on the outline some more." And I was like, okay. And there'd be meetings and I'd kind of be like, well, it'd be neat if we like saw Scrobius again, because he just kind of appeared and disappeared, or like talking about Robert. But for the most part, I was kind of like, that's happening. And when the script is like outlined, I'll hear about it.
If we're going to do this, then there are some things we need to go over first.
no cop should ever bury his murdered son.
I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. It's all because of me. Because I couldn't.
This will end the way it began, with fire, blood, and tears.
I mean, we come off from there are a few burning questions in episode 4. One of them was, did John die or what?
Oh man, and that was a cause of much debate. That went back and forth forever. I think people on the staff, this would come up in like different chats sometimes, and people would be like throwing in their 2 cents. Drew would be like, I think we should do this, and
yeah, I think we should kill John. Yeah. John needs to die.
And the question of like, should this be a choice the player actually makes in some way? Was that a thing?
I don't remember. Right, because it was gonna be either he died or didn't die at the end. What we were gonna try to do was we were gonna ask people in the forums, should he die or not?
Oh right, like making it like a vote, which for me I was like, well no, you can't just like, you have to just do what makes sense.
Yeah.
For the story. And the arguments I think were that John shouldn't die. This was the position you tended to hold.
Yes.
You didn't want him to die.
Yes. Even though I wanted him to die initially, then I say, no, let's just not kill him. And I think that was because, oh, yes, I know what it was. It was because the epilogue, the conversation between the two of them, it was either talking to John or talking to the dad, talking to Brian. And I realized that, well, Eric is not going to have an open conversation with Brian about what happened. Like, oh, by the way, I have all these powers. Or if she did, then she would have to like explain. It's going to feel awkward.
Yeah.
The best person to have that conversation with was John.
John was that one conduit where she could be open about that.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't need any explaining. It didn't need any awkwardness because they already knew what was going on. They lived through this thing together in a way.
Yeah. Although people who like this series take note, there was an ending written out where she does talk to Dad, and it was quite nice.
All through the 4 episodes, we kept making new music for all these characters and all these scenes. And in episode 4, actually, episode 4 is the one that has the least amount of new music. But that was not because we were trying to be cheap. It was mostly like, well, we have all these incredible themes that we wrote, and we only use them like once. And you know, just to reinforce the idea of the music and the pieces that we had made for specific moments, or that could work in moments that were similar, like with the Scott funeral, we used the same music that when Scott died.
This place is lively.
I've seen worse, but none as dangerous as this one will be.
I'm looking forward to meeting this bastard. If he leads us to Cain.
Don't count your chickens yet, Skippy.
How have you kept doing this for so long?
It's the only thing that still makes sense since Alice left me. Come on, you're not the new kid anymore. You know how it is.
Yeah, but the things we see.
Listen, Red, I know how you feel. We were all there once. This was one of your first cases, and it's been dragging for 3 years. But we're gonna catch this son of a bitch. So think about this. It's not about what we see, but about what we could stop others from seeing. And that makes it all a little better.
So this is the Sting sequence. This originally was a sequence that was going to be in episode 2. And I remember there was a point at which we were talking about this, and I was just like hanging out at a coffee shop one night, and I got really inspired. And I was like, I'll just start writing this. And I started writing something. And Katie is the writer in episode 2. And I remember I wrote it out, and I was like, hey guys, I did this just because. Like, I just thought it'd be fun. And I didn't know if that was, like, I didn't know how Katie felt about that, because I didn't know if I was, like, stealing your thunder or something. It's like, oh, this whole thing that you were probably going to write, here's another version of it. So later I realized, oh, I probably should have, like, held back a little bit. We had that. It ended up getting cut from the game. I don't know if we cut it because we were planning to move it to episode 4, or if we cut it and later realized, oh, we can use the same sequence.
Yeah, so the idea was that we were going to cut it. I mean, we cut it, obviously, for time-related reasons. And then we say, well, let's use it for the opening of episode 4.
Yeah.
the idea came forward, but we lost all those animations because the whole thing was just like completely different to what it was.
Yeah, and in the end, I mean, like everything that I'd written for episode 2 was totally different because the characters were different. Scott used to be involved in it, or not Scott?
Not Scott, Robert Goodman.
Was it Robert or was it Sully?
Initially in the episode 2 one, it was Robert. Because you could even, like, the actions that you could take would even kill him or not.
Right, yeah.
And then when it came to episode 4, the first idea we had was like, oh, let's bring Sully back. And let's have him be the one that Erica dragged through the sting. But then that also changed because then we wanted to have, like, stakes of, like, Jetta being able to die and then Erica being there.
Yeah.
And looking at her, you know, that whole thing.
Yeah. So in the end, it's amazing, like the amount of work that has to get scrapped and changed around, whether it's animations that aren't used or whether it's a whole chunk of the game that gets designed and undone.
Okay, this reminds me I can now make different decisions. I will definitely try. I guess this time I'll say this.
You're right. That's our job.
Don't let it go to your head, huh?
Reed, are we all set?
Awaiting orders, sir.
I appreciate the risk you're taking. Stelios and Jetta are both inside now and expecting you, Agent. I've dealt with this guy before. You have to be... This guy is...
Can we go over...
We're short on...
Who's Jetta? Okay, I will ask this one important question that I don't know if I'm supposed to ask or a really must ask, but...
What's Jetta's code to pass me information?
She'll blink once for you.
Alright. Who's Jetta?
Who's Jetta?
We already discussed her. She's Stelios' girlfriend, a prostitute junkie who's been our eyes in these circles for a while. The only thing you need to know is that our target trusts her, and that she'll be giving you important information. We have only time for one more question, Agent Reed.
And why is she helping us? Then, what the heck? Okay, where do I get the information about Cain?
Where will I get the information about Cain?
He keeps a book at the front desk, a register of all his clients. It's not very organized from what I hear, but you might be able to pick up on something. It's your case after all.
How am I supposed to get my hands on it?
That's why it's called Undercover, Agent. Convince him to let you take a look at it. We don't have any more time, Reed. You have to go in.
So there's this sequence here where Erica has to ask questions, and we had to sort of work on how the design for this worked exactly, because if the character, or if the player clicks on these questions and either doesn't ask the questions that they need to complete the upcoming talk with, what's his name? Stelios, yeah. If the player doesn't have the information they need to properly complete that, what happens? Like if you die, we had to realize, oh, you've got to get sent back to this conversation if you don't have all the information you need, because you need to be able to get that. Or if you're not paying attention. Like it's a tricky thing because the player doesn't know they're going to need this information, aside from the fact that what they're getting is really specific. So hopefully this is what's going to be engaging. Like, oh, okay, there are certain things about this guy I need to know. But it's tricky doing this sort of thing where Erica knows what is up and the player doesn't, and trying to balance that so that it's interesting but not confusing is
I did want to make him sure, like, okay, what would you ask? If like you have only like 3 questions, like what would you ask? Try to make the choices that are important here. And, you know, the questions were like 2 of the questions were things that didn't matter or that you should have known, like if you were paying attention to the prior part of the conversation.
Yeah. And it does set a tone for the rest of this episode as well, which is like there's something different going on where you're having to choose how much information you get. So you've got to pay attention. It has more to do with there being like a time limit on things and things need to go by quickly. And so as a result, like right from the outset, you're kind of getting a sense that the kind of attention you need to pay is going to be a little bit different.
Agent McCoy, remember, no interference. You're only there in case things go south.
I don't like it one bit.
Agent Reed, I will be guiding you, and no...
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do this. I will try to get Cheddar killed, but Erica survive, and later on I will try to make McAdams like us, or keep him alive, so to speak. Sure, I'll do my best and make any promises. This answer will probably give Erica some piece of reputation towards McAdams, and if she answers I can make any promises, then he's not gonna like us very much, but I'm gonna do that anyway.
I can't make any promises. And no weapons, remember?
See what
Then
happens.
try your damnedest.
Okay, changed. I think I didn't pay attention to the bottom right of the screen. I don't know if it moved down or up.
Erica, when you asked me earlier why I'm here, go take.
Yeah. Let's do this.
Reed, we've got our eyes and ears on you.
Your business?
We went over this one.
Interesting thing is that I cannot say. Wait, there is commentary in this section? How am I going to access that? Let's see, I'm gonna have enough time or an opportunity.
You must be Stelios, right?
The Russian doll. I thought you were blind.
When we were like halfway through making this game, we realized that there were a lot of choices that you made. I think that I had just finished playing The Walking Dead by the time that I wrote this episode. I mean, even though since the beginning, when we hadn't really done that, we had choices in episode 1, and I that wasn't because of The Walking Dead, because I had not played it, but I had played The Walking Dead, and I saw how they build those choices.
I remember this because I remember you being like, "Guys, I played The Walking Dead. Episode 4 is going to be different." And I was actually sort of worried at first. I was like, "Does that mean that the game's just going to be radically different? Like, well, how does that come into play?" And again, it was more like that ramping up of the experience and the focus of the different scenes. Like each scene is very self-contained. There's no map in this episode.
Right. And I definitely wanted that because I didn't want people to I didn't want to let go of the pace of it. So we have this relationship tracker. We realized, okay, there's going to be a lot of choices. There should be a way to know how the choices affect you. And I found that in The Walking Dead, it was really effective when people said, oh, somebody will remember this. But at the same time, in The Walking Dead, it was mostly like, okay, well, he'll remember this, but did I piss him off, or did I not piss him off, or how is he gonna feel about this? And so
I didn't play with that feature on. I was like, I don't want to know the times when the things I'm doing matter. I wanted to just kind of seem mysterious, so I didn't even get that.
Right.
But that was an important thing for you.
It was important because the whole idea of, did I make the right choice? And I wanted to reflect a little bit more of how you make the right choice, how you get somebody to trust you or not, and see real feedback.
Well, having control over the choice that you do pick and knowing what that choice means. So that's the hard thing, is you have 3 choices, but it's often really hard to signal the player to let them know what that thing they're clicking is going to correspond to in the future.
And I guess that the most important choice is anything and everything that is related to Cordelia and McAdams and how those relationship trackers work with them, because they define one of the biggest moments in the game, which is, does McAdam die or does he live?
Yeah. Agreed. Okay, this commentary doesn't help me. Okay, he's bluffing.
I don't know what you're talking about. They sent me. Now, are we getting down to business, or are you...
Not so fast, pretty face.
So we're getting down to business, or
Shit,
what?
Reed, we don't have that.
My client is gonna be really fucking unhappy when I tell him what
yeah,
went
that-
down here.
You heard me. Shipment
that
number.
sound right. I like it. What was the shipment number? I think it was this one. Let's see if this works. Jenna was supposed to point you to somewhere, and the thing is that right now I'm seeing no numbers on any of the crates.
It's over there.
Did Jay send you?
Jack Stryker
Yeah,
goes
okay.
by Jay, but he might be tricking you. He has a lot of people running.
Yeah.
Jay sent me, yeah.
Then you wouldn't mind if I gave him a call.
Go right
Right,
ahead.
Jetta.
Nah, I don't think she'd mind.
That could get you in deep shit, Erica. On the other hand, it could distract him.
Sure, call him.
Hey Jay, I got your girl here. Yeah, pretty hot ass. Hey, hot face. He wants to know, what's your name?
Her name is Vanessa Madsen, but when she deals for him, she goes by Ariel. It's going to be one of those two.
Which one should I pick? Let's say Erica Reed. I'm pretty sure she just shoots us, so I won't bother with that one.
Ariel.
Yeah, that's it. We're good, Jay.
Okay.
Alright, what do you want?
Well, for starters, I would like to listen to the commentary.
I'm here to check the inventory on the shipment. Want to make sure everything's in order and that we don't waste my client's time.
Moment.
Alright, one final question for you. Here's one for you I tell all my clients. You should know this one. Where do I...
Reed?
There's nothing here.
Neither. It's the center drawer.
She's got the smarts. Here,
Oh,
doll,
wait.
look all you want.
Was I maybe supposed to look around? This does not help me. Yikes. Okay, let me see if I can finally make a save.
Done yet?
1 minute.
Take your time. About time you showed up. I don't like keeping your shit for long. It's starting to stink.
Oh,
1, 2, 4, 6.
You know what's so great about looking at your tits?
What?
Oh no, I
That
missed
I
my
can see the
opportunity.
fucking wire you're wearing, cop bitch.
Oh no, I should have looked around. That way I would have activated the commentary. So, in this case, I will try to fail. See where that puts me.
Jenna, run!
Oh wait, that was the right option. No!
I got you, you bitch.
John, it's now or never.
Nobody lies to Stelios.
Nobody loves Stelios. Okay, let me... Yeah, sure, why not? Skip.
I saw the news. You did those last...
Skip. I want to read this part.
Our path was
Hey, whatever. Alright, I'm gonna try to reload.
I haven't been to the family
And so this.
See if that will. If I fail, it will bring it back enough or not. If it doesn't, then I'll redo the whole part.
About time you showed up. I don't like keeping your shit for long. It's starting to stink. I don't use...
We're starting
1, 2.
the first instance.
You know
to
what's
go
so
there.
great about looking at
Then
your
what?
tits?
In the dialogue.
That I can see...
Tell her to run.
Jenna, run!
He shoots them both. And then...
That wasn't my best decision.
Sure, I mean... Can I do this? Is this at the beginning? Nope. Alright, so I'm gonna have to die again. I cannot exit this screen, can I?
I can't read it.
And just to make sure, once again, yeah, there is no commentary on the books, so... Wait, did something change? No, I was thinking something changed on the cognition symbol. Anyway.
Well, about time you showed up. I don't like keeping your shit for long. It's starting to stink.
I need one.
You know what's so great about looking at your tits? That I can...
Jenna, run!
And if you choose the third option, Erica should be able
that
to
wasn't
hide,
my
but
best decision.
Jetta gets shot.
Can we go over things one more time?
We're short on...
Okay.
What's...
Just 3 random questions, whatever.
Obvious.
Go. Hey, you can skip through a lot. Wait. Oh, really? Okay. Then I'll start a new game.
Jenna, run!
That's funny because you didn't get to examine the notebook this time.
That wasn't my best.
Alright. So that quit right out of the game. Sure. And make a new game or a new case.
Previously on...
Hey, I can skip to this.
So hey everybody, we're now...
And
if
this
we're
as
going
well.
to do this.
And this
we
as well.
come off from...
And this too.
I see.
I'm looking.
Don't.
How have you...
It's the only...
Yeah.
Listen, but we're gonna... And that...
So this is...
You're right.
Don't let it go.
Reed, are we all set?
Awaiting order.
I appreciate the risk you're taking. I've dealt with this guy before. This guy has sold equipment to Cain to build his traps, and you have one chance to get an
a new
address.
game, you don't have
We're
to
short on
wait
time.
for everything.
What's Jetta's...
She'll blink one.
Who's Jetta?
We already... The only thing... We have only...
Where will I...
He keeps a...
How am I...
That's why it's... We don't have any more...
So there's this sequence here where Erica has...
Agent McCoy.
I don't like it.
Agent Reed. And no...
Yes, sir.
And Reed.
I can't make any
Then try your Assume positions, be ready in 5.
Yeah, it went down.
Be careful, Agent Reed.
Erica?
I'll be careful.
So
when you asked me earlier why I'm still doing this, then I'm here. Go take care of that.
Alright. Let's see what I can do inside here. I mean, you were initially supposed to look around, so I guess they expect you in the commentary to look around, at least for one question.
You must be still.
When we were like halfway through making this game, we were...
yeah. We listened to that one. So stick to your story.
I don't know what you're talking.
Not so fast.
Shit, Reed, we don't have that.
My client is.
You heard me.
Okay. Remember, I will save just in case it's a timing thing. And the game's like, ooh, you're out of time. You suck. Wait, there is nothing here. Then why this? What is this supposed to be?
Hey, cat, get your tongue, cause otherwise, this cat could do a few things with you.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Alright, whenever you're done, man. Nope. It's not this.
That's not the best idea right now.
Well, there's supposed to be something, but I don't know.
You heard me. Shipment number.
It's over there.
Maybe something is bugged out.
Did Jay send you?
Jack Stryker goes by Jay.
Maybe
but he might be tricking you.
This
He has a lot of people running his
scene counts as a part of another scene, like a bigger setting or something, I don't know. Oh well.
Jay sent me.
Then you wouldn't mind. Right, Jay.
Nah.
That could get you.
Sure, call him.
I thought it might be on the notebook because
Hey Jay, I got your girl
a
here.
lot of time.
Yeah, pretty hot ass.
to look.
Hey, hot face. He wants to know what's your name.
Her name is Vanessa
it just
Madsen,
seems
but when
kinda
she deals for
appropriate.
him, she goes by Ariel.
Ariel.
Yeah, that's it. We'll go. Alright, what do you want?
I'm here to
Alright, one.
Reed, there's nothing.
I'm gonna check again. Nope. So
Where do I
it's not
keep my...
Neither.
like
It's the center
the
drawer.
conversation.
Yeah, she's got the smarts.
needs
Here,
to
doll, look all...
progress or anything. I'm gonna check again. Click on random locations.
Take your time.
Nope. Well, I'm gonna do my thing and possibly skip a commentary piece. I have no more
About
ideas.
time you showed up. I don't
Yeah,
like
it
keeping
could be
your shit for
what's
long.
going on.
It's starting to stink.
1, 2.
You know what's so great about looking at your tits?
What?
That I can see the fucking wire you're wearing, cop bitch.
Okay, and now here, focus on yourself. Run and hide.
I got you, you bitch.
John, it's now or never.
Nobody lies to Stelios.
I got you, Reed.
Reed?
What? You son of a bitch, what?
I saw the news. You did those last two pretty bad.
My next pair is going to be even better.
Who are they?
Erica and Scott Reed. I'm taking the boy tonight.
Come on, pick up, damn it. Did you find my dad?
He's unconscious, but he'll live. I called 911.
Stay with him. I have to go.
Like hell you are. I'm going with you.
He said to come alone.
I'm not letting you go there on your own. End of story. And call for backup.
Our path was chosen long before now. Now we're just
I think
walking
even
it
if
until
you
we get to the final
don't
door
use
and the end
Jetta's help,
begins.
he still shoots her. But at this point it's a little bit up for debate, and I'm not willing to
I haven't been to
redo
the
that
family
part
lake house in
again.
ages, but I knew Keith would be here. I couldn't do anything to stop him from killing Erica's brother, but I can make sure he doesn't kill again. I just hope I can do this. And if I can't stop him on my own, well, then I don't know what I'm going to do.
So this is us playing as Cordelia. This continues how episode 3 ended, of the characters' perspective being shifted back and forth between without any kind of player control. We've seen how their stories intersect, so now we're actually playing those intersections out, and the kind of story perspective that gives is important because we needed to talk to Keith, we need to talk to McAdams. There's a whole bunch of different characters that need to be seen from a couple different perspectives, and just talking to Keith as Erica is different than Cordelia trying to talk to Keith.
This paints a full picture of what happened during that opening. We just saw what happened before, and now we're seeing what just happened after.
Yeah.
This is right after Cain was burned, and then now Cordelia is here to capture him. This is a moment where she captures him and then takes him to the basement. I think that, this is one of the original scenes from episode 4. I wanted to have a secluded place where you could have a big chunk of the gameplay, and at the same time learn a little bit more about this family, about the Smith, and how they were, and how a normal or seemingly normal family they were before things started to happen to them, and how it all sort of went to shit after that.
So the upstairs was always pretty straightforward as far as how it was designed. I mean, the puzzles here are more there to kind of pace out the character's progress than to provide any real serious challenge. And then that sort of leads into the basement, where a lot of I remember initially the basement was going to be even more extensive and more involved. There was a whole catacombs down there or something, right? There were passageways that led from the underground to the cemetery or something.
Yeah.
I think that ended up being changed.
Whoa.
Because
that was just
kind of
stretching it much.
Yeah.
There was the idea of, the puzzles on here, I just wanted to... Okay, so we have this guy that we want to trap, but Cordelia gonna just go in front of him and just get him. So you have to I came up with this idea that he's in the middle of the screen, and then you have to work back and forth between the door and the window just to set up what you need in order to capture him. And then you use your power, what you have to do when you do cognition on him, and you see what you have to do, and now now you find a way on how to do it, basically.
Yeah, but there's still, I think, 2 ways to deal with him. Yeah, if I'm correct, I'm gonna do the opposite thing of what I did in my regular playthrough, and see, this time I'm gonna have to use the drug, powder, dust, whatever it was.
The one nice thing about actually going through and testing this game and working on it is, if we finished up the scene with Stelios, or the scene in here, we were basically done with that. There was no jumping between sequences, or there being, different characters and different visions jumping between things. It was usually just very neat and clean. It's the scene where she interrogates Scorobius is done.
Yes.
And it was actually really kind of a relief after having episode 1 sort of situation, or episode 3
episode
situation.
3.
Yeah.
Oh my god, episode 3, like switching between the memories. That was like...
Yeah, like trying to have like 4 different stories all going on in a single scene, so constructing all the different logic for that and making sure it all made sense and tracking down the problem when there was one was just nightmarish.
You remember when, like, we kept switching between the characters and it happened that, oh, I switched, but I didn't switch really. I'm still like Erica
the skin would
like...
switch, but the logic wouldn't think it was a new character.
Or you would switch, but then you would be walking with the other character around.
Yeah. We were really happily free of that, because again, there was no actual player control of the switching. So, you know, if Cordelia was in this scene, she was the only one who was going to be in this scene. You know, especially for the 4th episode, we've been cranking on this game for a while. Being able to at least like focus on these individual chunks of game made that a more pleasant experience.
Yeah.
Although we still did leave the end for last.
Of course.
Per usual. Take the broom. You might need it.
It might help with something.
Right. Okay, I had to use it on something, this maybe? Yeah. And the key on the table was the car key?
Oh, that was close. Aha! The keys to the house.
Right. Alright, let's enter through the other side now.
At least he won't be able to get away.
I don't think...
Max loves sitting by the fire.
Anything here?
Keith's work table. There's too much junk to look through right now.
Anything else I might need, maybe? There's so in the car.
Nothing under here. Keith's gun. My visions showed this ending badly. Max, I know you'll forgive me for all the things I'm going to do.
I haven't used your visions yet.
I won't let anyone else suffer like... Hey, what's this?
Hey. Let's see.
Hey, what's this? There. Oh, look at this. It must be that drug he uses to knock his victims out. I'll take a peck, or 2, or maybe 3.
Why don't you take all of them? Okay, so don't I need to pick a wire, something? I'm gonna save. Maybe it's in the cabinet.
Keith's work table.
I don't think she wanna open the cabinet, but hey, what am I to say? Nope.
No.
Didn't show much. It just shows it was supposed to trip,
So,
which is fine, and then
there's one way to do this.
Uses
We sort of
the
jump back to the the drugs that were used in episode 2 with this, and that's the whole idea that you take the drugs, and you know that's what you see in your vision. In your vision, you see that you blow the drugs at him, and he falls, and then you know that's the way that you capture him. But again, because we were playing with the idea of it's not always that, like, the future that you see is not always what happens. At the end, Cordelia just like knocks him out with the gun. And I think that, you know, it was important because it showed really that, you know, it's not always what she sees. It's not, it might happen that way, but it might happen in a different way. It's not, whatever she sees is not set in stone. It can be changed.
I see. So I'm still gonna have to find that wire, rope, whatever it is. I'm glad I actually activated this vision because I was thinking to really thinking of skipping it, but I'm glad that I did it. Okay,
Our families.
let's check this again. Ah, okay.
Some thin wire. This might do the trick.
But I didn't really click on it. It's actually this, maybe, or not. She just put some imaginary thing in her pocket or coat. I was clicking on the top shelf last time. Anyway. Thin wire, the disc.
Okay, that'll hold.
Alright. Almost set. Wire?
One side of the wire is attached to the desk.
Yes. Oh, it's my inventory. Okay. It's still in my inventory, even though it's not in her code or whatever. Sure. Pull out the gun and kabam!
Keith, come out of there now!
Cordelia?
Surprised? I figured that since I was locked up and you didn't come to visit me, I'd come to visit you.
Surprise!
I wanted to, Cordy. I just didn't know what I would say. What you did was...
stupid. I should never have taken the blame for what you did. I felt so broken. I thought I'd protect you. And I wanted to understand. Why? Why, Keith?
Because I need to. I can't fight it. I just need to.
That's it? You destroy our lives. You force me to kill Max, and that's all you can say? I need to?
I could usually suppress or ignore it, but that night in Max's office, when I found out the truth, it changed. Suddenly I felt cut off from you two, from everyone. There was no reason to suppress it anymore.
Okay, I should have saved actually before this conversation. I don't know what I was thinking. I should save this. I don't think so, but sure, why not?
I hate you!
You're not the same anymore.
So this is Keith. This is obviously after, a couple hours after it all happened. He's probably in like a lot of pain, but he probably took also a bunch of pills that is like keeping that pain at bay. But this is right after he gets burned and he escapes. Obviously, he cannot go to a hospital. He has to take care of the wounds himself. And I don't know that he's doing a very good job at it. But this conversation, man, when you have to write these things, the weight that they have. And it's like, it feels a little bit daunting as a task of, okay, well, so it's been how long? It's been 6 years since
they haven't talked in all
they
that
haven't
time.
talked.
What's the first conversation?
And the last time that they saw each other was when he abandoned her to a machine that was about to kill her. And so this is that time now that they meet, after they had just minutes before that they had just worked together, or she believed that they were working together to just to find out what's going on with Max, and to find this and to have this conversation with your brother, and all those emotions that you've been holding up, because Cordelia is not a cold person. She's not a calculating person. She has emotions. She has taught herself to be more, a little bit more calculated in the things that she does, but she's still battling herself. I mean, to me, I always saw Cordelia as Catwoman. She's not bad. She's just like an anti-hero.
Well, I mean, this is sort of what the episode 3 journal was trying to do, was trying to lay out, hey, this is sort of where she's coming from. It's not hard to look at some of her actions and be like, whoa, she is kind of bad. Just the conditions she places Keith in. Like, there's actually a bit of dissonance for me just in the way that the Hat Killer acts and the way Cordelia acts, because they just seem so different. Because as soon as she has the Hat Killer costume on, she seems ruthless. Like, she's going to just start shooting at Erica in a historic building. And to go from that to, like, you took my brother's flower. It's pretty significant. But, seeing how that does play out is interesting. I think it probably creates that space in the middle where you just don't know who she is. Maybe having that mask to put on changes her.
Yeah. And even like here, in this conversation really depicts that the two choices that you have. You can either really be Cordelia and tell Keith, why did you do all of that? I thought we were a family. And just withhold that you've been holding for 6 years, and just lie to him in order to capture him. Yeah. So that's sort of like the two persons that she became. You're right. She sort of like got broken into two pieces. The person that still cares about some of those things, and the person that just doesn't, and is like a brutal killer.
And Jade.
You have to understand that this is something I can't control, Cordelia. I must kill.
You're a monster.
If I'm a monster, then I'm the same monster that you loved all those years ago.
Don't talk about love. You don't understand the meaning of the word.
You are right. I don't. I didn't love or hate Max. I just couldn't control the need to kill him, to understand what made him tick.
I'm sure Max is good for what we did. Oh man.
Don't you dare mention his name.
You always thought he was better than me.
Hey, Interesting, you can still veer their way. The right. Yeah, I prefer you. Sure, why not? But it's the right, and it doesn't change anything in the lines, I don't think. Just this reputation bar. How much he likes her.
You will never be half the brother he was. Come here, Keith.
No! Now, you can reunite with them.
Oh. Okay.
I need to watch what I say to him.
I guess you do. Hey, I don't remember this part. Ooh, I can save here now. I mean, I probably won't need to, but I will. Okay, this time I will spice it up a little bit.
Okay, that'll hold. Keith, come out of there now!
Cool. Cordelia?
Surprised? I figured...
I wanted to, Cordy. I just didn't know what I would say.
Stupid.
Because
okay, now I can skip through some of this.
I could usually suppress or ignore. Suddenly I felt cut off from you two.
Let's say this.
I want to try to forgive you, Keith.
Can you?
So this is Keith. This is obviously after.
You have to understand that this is something I can't control, Cordelia. I must kill.
You're a monster.
If I'm a monster, then I'm the same monster that you loved all those years ago.
Don't talk about love. You don't understand the meaning of the word.
You are right. I don't. I didn't love or hate Max. I just couldn't control the need to kill him, to understand what made him tick.
Don't you dare mention his name.
You always thought he was better than me.
You will never be half the brother he was. Come here, Keith.
Okay, so...
No! Now, you can reunite with them.
Or not. Huh.
I need to watch what I say to him.
Okay. I thought maybe if he likes her just a little bit, we will... Oh wait, what? Why is she on the other side?
These old floorboards get very creaky toward the center
Whoa.
of the room.
What? They see me rolling, they're hating. Okay. Hey, what happens when I do this?
No.
No?
The drugs are a backup. I don't want to use them unless it's necessary.
I thought you would be able to use the drugs for real, but I guess
Keith,
maybe not.
come out of there now.
Cool.
Surprised?
I wanted to.
Stupid.
Because
That's it.
I'm willing to
could
play
usually
around with
suppress.
this conversation, see how much he has to like her.
I want to try.
Can you?
So this is Keith. This is obviously after.
You have to understand that this is something I can't control, Cord.
Let's say she understands the needs and what maybe.
I understand.
Killing doesn't make us monsters. It just makes us human.
Don't talk about love. You don't understand.
You are right.
Nah.
Don't you?
You always...
Well, she says this. I mean, I don't believe she preferred neither more than the other, but
Keith, I always preferred you.
let's
Come
tell
here,
him what he
Keith.
needs to hear, maybe.
What are you waiting for?
Okay, so this
You
works.
did it to Max. You could do it again. Pull the trigger. Because if you don't stop me now, I'll kill again. You can't, can you?
So much for the drugs. The pain of her past is not over yet. But pain has made her strong, and the past must be uncovered if the future is to become clear.
So here she
Erica?
speaks about Erica, I guess? Yeah, I mean, who else?
Cordelia, I've been looking for you.
You've found me now.
But this is not how it's supposed to be.
Get me the fuck out of here!
I like this cutscene.
It'll be alright.
Seems like Cordelia betrays her.
Trust me. Ask Rose about Bao Tan. He will point the way.
And this kiss in
The
the
choices are hers. The path is before her. And it will bring us either justice or condemnation.
in the forums,
Oh,
so
this
many
sequence.
people are
A lot of
confused about the
people
kiss.
ask about this sequence and
Right.
the kiss.
Yeah.
This is a
I
big
was
kiss.
very concerned when I first heard that there was the kiss between the characters in the episode, because I assumed it's like, well, there's no reason for that. It brings up a whole bunch of questions. I didn't know it was a dream. That was also important to know.
That's what I want to clarify what this really is. This is not an actual scene that happened. When we cut to the credits, and maybe that was because I did see that people catch up on it while they were discussing it. The credits come after, and then Erica wakes up in Rose's shop. This was something that she was looking for. She was like trying to do regression on her, try to find some way to connect to Cordelia. It was sort of like a dream state in which she connected to Cordelia, and Cordelia gave her this information so that she could find her. But also, the kiss just represents how close Erica feels to Cordelia. There really isn't anything overly sexual about it. Even Rose talks about how two Cymons can relate to one another and connect through their power, and especially Cymons that have a power that is so similar.
Yeah,
and that
well,
they
their
feel,
powers are so complementary. It makes sense that they would have that.
Yeah, and the fact that they just lived through what happened in episode 3, they're so close and so together that this kiss is just more about that. It's more of a symbolical thing.
Erica. Erica, my dear. Are you okay? Did you find what you were looking for?
I saw Cordelia. Everything's gone to shit, Rose. I feel like I should hate Cordelia after all she's done, but I don't. But Sully? Davies? Oh God. John. Is it so wrong if I say that some part of me understands her?
Erica, Scions have an affinity for empathy. Whatever horrors Cordelia has committed, you cannot help but connect to her human side. The woman she was before, the woman she could have been.
Who is Bao-Tan, Rose?
Did you say Bao-Tan? Oh dear. I haven't heard that name in so very long.
Cordelia mentioned it in my vision.
I'm not sure I want to talk about this.
Please, Rose. I don't know if I can trust her, but this must be important. I have to find her. I have to stop her and her brother. Rose?
And so here, this is when, Erica wakes up and she's with Rose, and everything has gone to shit, and Erica's just like, she's at the bottom of the well. She's getting to the edge because everything that she does has been sort of failing what she's been trying to accomplish, and she still hasn't found Scott's killer, and Cordelia is out there, and Cain is out there, and John was shot. This woman is really at the at the point of breaking down, even as strong as Erica is, which is somebody like her doesn't easily flinch at these things. But Erica...
It also seemed to me like, for all of her hard-headedness, part of that comes from a desire to prove herself and to be strong, to hold on to this idea, which is kind of a way of covering up a certain amount of insecurity or fear. So it actually makes sense. It's like, oh, she can't hold it all back, which we never really do see her totally break down and become a total mess.
Right, because she won't. I don't think that she'll let herself be that. No,
not for long.
Not for long.
Yeah, season 2, we'll talk.
yes, we'll talk later about season 2.
There will be season 2? Really?
Sometimes I can remember the particular smell of the jungle. It was musty and salty, and yet I liked it. It was summer of '72 in Vietnam. I had come with the Catholic relief.
You were in Vietnam?
No. I was, and that's when I noticed.
Bao-Tan?
Yes. War drives people.
What happened then?
Out of I saw the man, and then a bright, the impact, and I remember.
What happened to him?
Bao-Tan was in the fire.
They were going to.
Yes.
What did he?
He told me. I believe when they.
And so Bao-Tan, I remember there was one night when you posted something on Facebook about you're like, I'm doing a whole bunch of research into Vietnam right now, and it's about Cognition episode 4. And then I think at some point you actually talked to us in the chat about what you had.
There was this whole idea. The point of this scene was two things. We had to show what it was to be a scion that lived through what Cordelia had lived. Draw a parallel to exactly what she had experienced and how unjust life is to these people that can see the future and nobody believes in them, and what that can bring. In the case of Bao-Tan, he was branded a Viet Cong and executed because of just seeing a vision that he couldn't understand. The other side of it was just to develop Rose a little bit more, because there were questions about Rose, like, why does she know all these things? Why, why is she so, yes, she's a guide to Erica, but how does she know, when Erica came into episode 1, how did she know these things? And how did she know when she read into John what was going on and that kind of stuff? And that was always known, for us at least, that Rose was a scion as well. She could read and see people's thoughts.
Oh, nothing here, yes. Okay.
I would like a moment.
She would like a moment to herself. How about this?
Rose,
Oh, my dear.
I won't push you if you don't.
Sometimes.
I promise.
I remember we were putting this puzzle together, and this required a lot of creating new tools and techniques for doing things, having a bunch of images floating in space, having a camera that moves between them all, having all the different toggles. It's sort of like the regression puzzle on Robert in episode 1. And if something goes wrong, if the camera doesn't work, suddenly you can't even test it to see if all the stuff you've put together works. And this is one of those things that just took a long time for it to end up being satisfying. And this is just sort of how games are. Like, you've got to start, and like 80% of what you're playing through is just your imagination because the characters aren't really there and the animations don't exist. And
it's what we call development hell, which is basically that point where you're saying this is never going to come together.
Well, development hell is, it's like 5 years and you're telling yourself this will come together. That's actually probably more like development purgatory, but I don't know why they call it development hell. That really should be development purgatory. This is development hell, where it's just like, I don't know. I have faith in that thing that I thought 2 months ago, but maybe that's crap now.
Well, you start losing faith. Like, why did I come up with these ideas? Why could I be more... Why can't I have design something more simple? Why didn't I just go with what we had with Robert already? Why did I come up with like this new idea of doing this?
Yeah.
That's also another thing that I wanted to do. It was, I mean, people seem to really, really like that regression puzzle with Robert. And I wanted to do something like it again. Because I thought that it was a really good idea. But I also wanted to take out the things that people didn't like about the regression puzzle with Robert, which was, you have to like leave and go look for a donut and come back to Robert and give him the donut, but he doesn't want a donut, he wants a sandwich.
That's what I would do if I was given a donut after asking for a donut.
Okay, so she won't remember all stuff. Let me see if I can play.
Rose doesn't remember this.
I have a love, and that's probably because of my love with Jane Jensen, where things are placed in the real world and you can feel that culture and you can learn more beyond just the game, just to get interest in different places in the world and what happened there. And that was sort of my interest in placing this in Vietnam, and also because, you know, obviously there's a lot of intensity that came from that war. You know, people caught up in a war that they didn't want to be part of, or people that went there to help and were caught up in moments that, you know, were horrible. So I wanted to reflect some of that, because the story was about injustice and the story was about how things sometimes just go horribly wrong. The inspiration for this scene was one of those pictures that show that girl that is naked. She's running away from a village, which is very famous. I forget the photographer for that, but it won a prize and everything. Pulitzer Prize, I think. Anyways, it's very famous. And when I was researching, I saw that picture and I was like, wow, this is... I had seen it before, but then I saw it and it was like, wow, this is really... It sort of marked me. Like, it was based in that whole attack. That's when the attack took place. It was in the same village, the temple. I researched, I looked for like anything and everything that I could find about that, information about that temple and that village where it happened. And so I that's where it's based. We do a lot for our games sometimes.
If a game doesn't have some kind of basis in some sort of reality, either in like, you know, historical, social stuff, or it's not actually addressing things that people experience in a given day, for me, if it's that detached from my actual experience of the world, then it's not really that interesting.
Right.
And this has less to do with games a little bit, just because games have the component of also being fun, but like stories in general, like if they don't touch upon my life in some way, what am I
Right.
taking it in for?
Right.
So I think you need to do that to make stories that actually matter to people.
I think this was the correct one. Let me... Actually cannot search for it yet. I don't have enough info. It probably won't open another commentary,
A
but
temple.
How come
we'll
there are
see.
panels that you can't actually get up close to?
They were just part of the story and not part of the gameplay, and so we decided like just to not confuse people as to like, oh, do I have to do something with this? Initially they weren't supposed to be there at all, but we left them there because they were just part of the story. But the way that we build the story, they were needed to be there, and so I just say, well, let's just leave them there.
I like this idea of having like an interactive comic world where you do zoom in and come out.
Yeah, I think that came together way nicer than I expected it to. The idea was that it was going to be much simpler than this, but as we started to tell the story, all these things started to come together, and it was like, oh yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
If you notice, like in this room, we sort of took like all the interactions and we just left the interactions that matter. Because before it was they were there because of the projection puzzle, but now it was more like, okay, well, we don't need all that stuff. Let's just like really focus on what we need to do. And so I wanted it to be challenging, obviously, and I think that it was enough challenging to people, to play through it and to understand what they needed to do, and to see more into Rose and who she was and how she came to be, which is also, it is important because towards the end of this scene, when they're talking together, Rose says to Erica, by the way, I haven't told you everything, and Erica's like, yeah, tell me about it. Really?
This is horrible. It got burned as badly as that little girl. Rose doesn't remember what he...
I actually don't remember what he gave her as well. I think it was this one.
She doesn't remember what she told him?
Let's see, it was this one. And let's ask her some questions.
What temple was that?
It's a Cao Dai temple. There are a few of those in Vietnam.
Do you remember?
I can't
What did he give?
Check that shelf.
What did you tell him?
Isn't it obvious?
Okay. Let me check. Wait. Is it this maybe? Yeah. Okay. So it was this, oh, and this.
It's beautiful. This must be what Bao Tan gave Rose.
And there was, I think, another.
There's so many of them.
Puzzle here. Oh well. I'll see it in time. I didn't press her about the book though.
It was given to Rose. Rose was reading a book.
We use projection in this game again, which I found it nice because I wanted to like have a more organic way of figuring out how to use projection. Normally, like in the past, you would look at things and figure out by looking at them what was important and what wasn't. In this one, I don't give you any information about when you're looking at object. I decided not to give you any information on what was the object. I wanted you to take a look at this, at like the panels, and see that, oh, look, there's a football in there that she has in that shelf. And like all the objects that you had to click on are things that you find in the story. So I made the Robert Goodman puzzle, and I think that was good. It was pretty much my favorite puzzle of episode 1. But then I had the chance to sort of like sit down and think through what didn't work about that puzzle and make it again this time around. And like really make you use the powers in a way that nothing else was in the way. Like let you enjoy just playing with the powers and like looking into this, into the story of this, because you use synergy as well to like the pieces of the photograph so that you can see who that is. So this puzzle I really enjoyed making. And you know, some people, I think they say that it felt like really detached. Why did you show me this in the middle of this episode? I just think it was nice to go into Rose, and also because you had to really see from a different perspective. So people may have not connected with Cordelia enough, or like believe that something like this, you know, that she should have been good no matter what. But I just wanted to show another perspective of somebody else that went through this. And Rose, when she talks about this, she tells Erica, you know, you are cursed. Your power could be a curse. It could be a blessing, but it could also be a curse. But nothing like somebody who can see the future, because they're plagued by things that they might be able to change.
Who should read this? I don't remember. I think it was this one. That's the gift. Let's see what other options they have. Right. Okay. Oh, I was supposed to ask about things.
What book were you reading, Rose?
Oh, my dear. I don't remember.
She still does not give me that option. Let me check the shelf again. Ah.
It's a piece of a photograph. It's only a piece of a photo. Is that Rose?
Right. Use my powers again.
It's beautiful.
That's the thing. Let me double check. Yep, that's what I have selected. Nope, cannot task her in this screen. Oh well. Wait, what?
What did he give you?
Check that.
Do you remember?
I can't read.
What book?
Oh, my dear.
What temple?
It's a cow.
What did you
Isn't it?
Oh, her name, I forgot. You were supposed...
She's so lucky to have survived.
I don't think luck has anything to do with it, my dear.
Did I say that out loud?
Memory.
Was Rose using a name other than her own? She doesn't...
I think that was it. Maybe. So, name.
Why can't you remember your name?
I'm Rose Duvalier. But when I went to Vietnam...
So that the enemy couldn't identify...
Yes, and...
It's weird I cannot ask her about the pictures. Oh, now I can investigate here, okay. Alright. Yeah,
The
this
Alchemy of
will
Happiness.
find
Wait,
the
what's
picture
this?
as well. Makes
There's
sense.
you can see Courier 9 in this. That's another one of my games that I want to do one day.
Well, it's a book. You can go read it. There's actually an Easter egg. If you click on quarter 9 in the right way, you can read some pages of the script that Cesar has been writing.
You're such a liar.
Yeah, that's not. But you're just saying that because you don't want people to read it. Don't be shy. Come on.
Okay. You have to press AAB.
Yeah, it's funny because like there's a lot of talk about Easter eggs like in the chats. It'll be like 2 a.m. and someone will be like, "Oh, we should throw this in as an Easter egg," or someone will like do some sort of weird animation. And for all the talk people did about throwing in Easter eggs, we got almost no time to do them just because we were so. It wasn't like, well, animation's done. They can just goof around for a while.
Yeah.
We had stuff to get done, and we were finishing this stuff like up to the last days that we were.
There is an Easter egg in this episode though. At the very end, at the thank you screen, if you click precisely somewhere on the screen, it'll show you that scene with Cordelia and the poodle.
Really?
Yes. You haven't seen that?
I haven't seen it. No, I didn't know what any Easter eggs. I mean, aside from
It's like, you will do what I want. It's like from the movie. I forget what movie it is. It's like, you will listen to me. I'm your master. And she's like, no.
Is it voiced?
Yes.
What? That's amazing. I didn't know that. Well, I'm going to find out how to get that done. Maybe people listening to this will also find out how to get the Easter egg. Does anyone know about this?
Maybe.
Very few people.
Wow. Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull it off. He said something about the thank you screen if you click somewhere very precisely. That's all I remember. Alright. Look at the photo. The name is...
Look at her, all smiling and young.
Okay, time for the big revelation.
Oh, this scene, we decided to again use the music from the scene with Robert Goodman and Sarah. I thought that was a very beautiful piano theme, and I asked Mikhail to use it again, just as a reflection of memories and remembering things.
Yeah,
and we didn't we
fitting.
told the story again, even though she had sort of gone through the first time around. But at this point, it was more like, okay, now you know exactly what happened. Yeah, now you know all these things. Now we just sit down, sit back and watch this and let it sink. And I thought it was beautiful. The first time I saw it, it was there was no voice. And I thought, oh wow, this really works. This was really nice. It's one of those things, when something comes together really well, you feel it.
Oh yeah. Again, you don't have your imagination filling in for what it could be. And if it's better than you were imagining, you're just like, ooh, wow, that really zings.
Yeah. And this is also Rose telling Erica, sometimes you just have to let it happen. You cannot, obsess over saving everyone, which is Erica's number one problem. She always wants to save everyone. And if she doesn't, then she feels totally guilty about it. And Rose is trying to tell her, sometimes you just have to let it go. You just have to accept what things are.
Yep. Agreed. Absolutely. Oops, nope. Yeah, this happened last time as well. I didn't think you're supposed to get the user interface in this section, but oh well. I'll allow it.
I know what you can do. I know you will do good by those like us. I can see it. You will be an angel among those like us.
I too have failed, my dear, many times. But we must always pick ourselves up and keep
Also,
on
well,
going.
maybe
I couldn't
they are
save
supposed to
Balkan,
say
but to
something
this day
in
I
those
keep his
sections while they
spirit
say
with
nothing,
me.
which is for the most
You
part
could
of
hear
the
him.
vision.
You can...
But I'm not
You can read
100%
minds,
on
Rose?
that.
You're one of... us?
Well,
I
duh.
can see and hear people's thoughts, my dear.
But why?
I do not
Why
know,
not?
my dear.
So Cordelia is like...
This is a I tried.
Rose.
I've been thinking of it is what you saw.
So
you were probably what I do know.
Why were you so
He confided in what they...
Do you blame her?
That is the question.
I don't know how to begin. Let me entertain a thought here, Rose. Now, I know you keep saying your memory is fuzzy.
Go on.
When Cordelia was here, was there anything that you read from her thoughts?
That would be a very hard thing to... Wait. When Cordelia's visions would overtake her, I would ask her to focus on a place that would calm her down.
And did you read her?
I'm seeing it in my thoughts right now.
So, what is it?
It's a lake house. This must be where Cordelia wants me to go. But where is this? There has to be something that can guide me here.
Guess what? Let's try to click on the wrong things first.
It's just a matter of time until I put you behind bars.
Wow.
Or take you down myself.
Okay.
Poor guy. He had no idea what was coming. And he didn't deserve it.
How do you know? Well, yeah. Maybe someone else. Something he did to someone else.
She looked so happy back then.
I won't go into theories.
They died so young. Where is this cabin?
Where is it? No signs, no nothing. That's what I was looking for the first time.
Who is this person? Wait. It's Scorobius. He can tell me where this place is. Last I heard, they were holding him down at the station.
Oh,
time to pay a visit.
This photograph, we wanted to show like how much of a normal family they really were before tragedies started to struck them, and it started with their parents dying in that car accident, and then they were sort of raised by Scorobius, and then Max and Cordelia sort of took care of Keith, who was the youngest one. I think that when I look at this picture and I realize what happened to this family, it's very bittersweet. How can such a happy family end up like that? Right? I mean, what do you think when you look at something like this and then you know what happens after?
What I think of is it's easy for kids and memories to look happy, but when you're actually there, you're like, oh wait, there was all kinds of times when, like especially like childhood, it seems really idyllic looking back because you weren't aware of responsibilities, but you were also trying to figure out how the world worked, and it's actually kind of scary and sort of. I mean, it's not really made clear what Keith is like when he's a little kid, but I imagine he probably still had a lot of the same difficulties he has later, just in like, having a quick temper if things don't make sense to him, or if he's not able to focus on something, he just gets sort of irritable. I think this is a particularly idyllic and iconic snapshot that sort of indicates, hey, things were really better then, and look how far they've fallen, and it's easy to feel nostalgic, but I personally have a tendency toward like undermining the nostalgia, to be like, well, yeah, but there's also like there was no time that was better. Like things were just as bad then. I mean, well, not for this family because things got really bad. But in general, like you think back to things that have happened to you, it's like, well, yeah, that could have been better, but I'm probably just glossing over the stuff that was unpleasant or forgettable or boring or whatever. So, I mean, Keith is the one who has all kinds of like massive like skin burns, so he'd be the one to ask. Look at this photograph and compare.
I think I have all I need. Thank you, Rose.
Erica, wait.
Really? I had a feeling.
I live up to Baltan's last words. I look for scions and I help them deal with their abilities through training. There is much for you to learn about what I do.
I don't know if right now is the best.
This is not an invitation to join us. This is just me trusting you. Your coming here was not an accident.
Thank you, Rose.
So,
Your badge and your gun, Reed.
Gonna say there are several ways I think to do the
Take a vacation.
interrogation.
And I want you to go through counseling before even thinking of coming back. Is that clear?
You finally found a way to do it. You've wanted to do this since I went against you the night that Scott died.
No, Reed, I'm not. But not before I debrief you.
Did you bring Scarob?
Yes, he's in one of the interrogation cells. Leave it be, Reed.
All right, I'll be waiting.
In his
But
interrogation
first,
cell.
I'd like to make a pit stop.
So this thing with McAdams is sort of interesting because we're sort of reverting the roles in here in a way that, you know, Erica still has that attitude towards him. Oh, you should be happy now. You got what you want. And McAdams is like being really honest about that. It's, no, you just need to go take some time off. And for crying out loud, just pay attention to what I'm telling you.
He seems like he's talking to her as a bit more of a, maybe not exactly a peer, but as like a human being trying to tell another human being, hey, this is what's going on. And it's nice to kind of see that emerge because, I mean, a lot of times in games you have people who have like very set personalities, like particularly in games, because they're usually elements in the puzzle or something.
Right.
And to actually see that transition from him being kind of like a puzzle element, like, oh, you've got to get past him, you've got to do this, to them actually having something a little bit more substantial to their interactions, especially as this episode progresses, is satisfying just because that's not a thing that often comes out.
Okay, and I again have no...
Miss Reed, what a surprise. Weren't you suspended?
I don't have time for your cryptic bullshit right now.
What do you know
I
about
need
that?
information and you're gonna give it to me.
You seem very sure about that.
Oh hey, I can see it here. Well, thank you, game.
Keep your hands off me.
Okay.
Where is the Smith's Lake House located?
Which one? What country?
This was actually going to be in episode 3, and we ended up moving it again because we didn't need to explain all these details to make episode 3 like cohere, especially as we got closer to the end. It was kind of a crunch of so much like really gooey information that to try to like stick in something that was more expository really would have slowed down the pace. And there really was no reason to not just hold this off because the third episode was more about what Keith did. Here we can learn a little bit more about the particulars of how he found things out. It might have ended up being a little bit unsatisfying when people watched episode 3, but I guess the expectation was that all of the bluster of how that episode ended would have kind of left people frazzled enough to hang around until episode 4 and then see some of those questions addressed, like, you know, how he found out who he was, why he snapped, all of that.
I really like when triple blood just trickles down his forehead. It's like, oh man, this dude is crazy.
He is intense.
He's intense. I also like...
It looks like Aria's trying to make out with him and he really doesn't want to.
I want to make out with me. Stop. Think about it. Give it to me, baby. No.
Oh man.
I don't have time for your games.
Neither do I, Agent Reed.
another one of those decisions that you make, and the way that you use the relation tracker in this one is actually, it doesn't work. It's like no matter what you do, it's telling you that it's not working. If you try to push him, this is not gaining his trust. On the contrary, you're losing his trust by trying to talk or by trying to get a reaction from him. And so what you have to do is, you have your powers, use them.
I mean, the function here is less about the relationship meter changing anything about the game and more just giving you feedback about the story. Like, it's a story element far more than it's anything game related, because, spoiler, that meter doesn't do anything.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, in this case, it's just giving you feedback. I think it was interesting that you have a choice, like making him pass out or
keeping him conscious.
Keeping him conscious, so that actually that plays differently. Like if you make him pass out again, it's all about how to keep McAdams alive. Because if you make him pass out and then McAdams comes in and see him pass out, he's gonna, like, his relation tracker drops by seeing that. But if he's still conscious, then the relation tracker just stays where it is until obviously you punch him and get out of the way.
McAdams is just like, well, yep, I expected this.
Yeah, exactly. This is typical Erica bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay. Cabin, now.
Where is the Smith's Lake House located?
Which one? What are you doing? Help! Someone help me!
There's no one here right now to...
Go to hell!
The conversation between Eric and Erica Roberts. I enjoy this a lot.
What the hell is this?
So this is Erica impersonating Jack Bauer. Like, really impersonating him. Somebody was asking me, like, or somebody in a review said, why does Erica doesn't call Keith by his name? Why does she keep calling him Cain? And I don't know if she does she say Keith? I mean, in this one she does say Keith, but most of the time she calls, and the only person that she says Keith to is to his father. Every other time that she calls him, he calls him by Cain, and I think that was very much intentional. I feel that Erica, by calling him by that name, she would humanize him.
Humanize him, really?
Yeah.
See, I figured that's a way to distance the human being from the idea, like the person taking the actions.
But for me, that was more like, I'm not humanizing you. You're not a person to me. You are a monster. You're Cain. And so that's what she does when she calls him Cain and keeps calling him Cain, even though she knows he's Keith.
Didn't you say before that it was a way to humanize him?
No, it's a way to, like if I call you Keith, I'm humanizing you.
Oh, Keith, yes, okay.
Right.
So we're agreeing.
Yes. This is what happens every day, like when we're talking about design. We sort of agree on a thing, and we somehow find a way to, like, misunderstand each other.
Yeah, when there's three people all trying to make three different pieces of one story come together, it sometimes takes until something is either in the game or at the very least in a script to realize, whoa, we need to have a talk.
Max!
You bastard! You were there when Keith dragged Max down. You could have stopped this!
You have no proof of that.
No? How do you think I know? There were cameras, remember?
I'm a lawyer. You can't intimidate me with your insinuations.
You not only falsified documents, but you were also an accomplice to murder. With the points you're racking up here, it's not looking good for you. Do you want to try your luck?
I won't say another word until I see something in writing.
Nobody is watching. Nothing is recording. I don't give a shit about you. I just want the address. Now speak! And I might just forget all about this.
The lake house you are looking for is at 1246 Pleasant Brook Lane in Rockport.
Why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you try to stop him?
I didn't know what Keith had in mind, what he was capable of doing. Besides, it all looked like a sibling's quarrel to me. I hadn't been a father to Keith up to then, and I wasn't about to start.
You piece of shit!
Agent Reed! Agent Holmberg, stop her!
I really like also how we sort of humanize Scrobius a little bit here. When you ask the question of why you were his father, why didn't you do anything? And he's like, for me it was too late. But obviously he still cares for Keith somehow, beyond just the signature.
Well, I forget if you put it in this or not, but part of it is the reason he stayed in with the family in the towers, the reason he stayed with Cordelia working under her, is because he does still care enough to be swayed by that. He knows that if he leaves, Cordelia will inflict further suffering upon Keith.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of that, and there's obviously a little bit of the blackmailing that she did because of the whole fraud that keeps him in. I think.
Was it mostly the fraud thing, or was it mostly the family ties thing?
It's a bit
just
of both.
A mix.
Yeah, it's a mix of both. And in the conversation where it says that he was under the control of Cordelia, and doing what she pleased. But at the same time, Keith was his son. And, when Erica asked him, so why didn't you do anything? He's like, well, I hadn't been a father for so long, I wasn't going to start being one.
I wonder where the bees lead me to. Let's try this one.
McAdams, you have to listen to me.
I'll listen to you, all right.
10 years in jail. Being nice is not exactly gonna work here.
Okay. Well, now you know. Ooh, they tried the whole thing. Okay.
Where is this?
Which one?
This was actually going to...
Nope. Already listen to this.
I don't have to.
Neither do I.
Isn't there one of those decisions?
Yep, listen to this as well. Let's see.
You knew about Keith all this time?
Yes, Keith.
Do you think I'd tell?
Okay,
Please.
And I don't?
Where is this?
Which one?
Wait, what? What is my conversation option to push him around and whatnot?
Where is this?
Which one?
Please.
And I don't?
Where is
I thought you...
Huh, that is interesting. He won't let you.
Keep your hands off me.
Don't have anything here.
Where is this?
Which one?
And now we have that option.
What are you doing? Help! Someone help!
There's no one here.
Go to hell!
The conversation between Eric and
Yep, listen to this as well. There is the memory, which you can skip.
You bat!
You have...
No?
I'm a lord!
You not...
I won't...
No, but...
The lake house...
Why didn't you...
I didn't know!
You pe...
Agent Reed!
Okay. Let's try
Agent
the
Holmberg,
other
stop her.
option.
I really like also...
Try to... You try to talk to McAdams, try to run, which means... You might try, but it's not gonna work.
Let me go!
Now you and I...
10 years in jail. I can't run by 2 federal agents that easily.
Yeah, you can just watch yourself do it right about now. Okay, so you do this. He says no.
Keep your hands off.
And then you say the thing.
Where is...
Which one?
This was actually going...
You skip the other thing. You do this.
What are you doing? Go to...
The conversation
Skip a
between
bunch of dialogue. Ace conversation. Apply the power. Apply force.
You bastard!
You have no...
No?
I'm a lawyer.
You not...
I won't
Blah,
say
blah,
another
blah.
one.
No.
The lake house, you...
Why didn't...
I didn't know...
You...
Agent Reed.
Yes.
Agent Holmberg, stop her.
You are looking for me?
Sorry, Petter. What kind of shit are you getting into, Erica?
Who is this agent?
That's Peter Holmberg.
You see?
It's just like came out of nowhere because we needed somebody to like, I don't know.
Did we make a whole new model for that, or is he just like a stand-in?
He was something that we used, a modification, and I think the photographer or from episode 1 or something.
Okay, yeah. Because I noticed like there was a, like Erica runs out, and if you push him, she's like, sorry, Petter. And I know he was a backer, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's actually one of the main programmer of the Silver Lining. He actually did some work for the tools of Cognition.
Oh.
Yeah.
And there she is, once again.
We used to come here every summer when Mom and Dad were alive. Things were much simpler back then.
Don't take another step. You tricked me. My visions? John!
The future is a very fickle thing, Erica. What we see is sometimes only one of many possibilities. I saved us both. Had I been in the Enthon Towers with you, one of us would have ended up dead. So I left the towers before that could happen. But fate has a funny way of correcting itself. Someone still needed to be shot.
You led John and me to the towers. You're responsible for what happened to him.
No, Erica. You didn't do what you were supposed to. You were supposed to kill Keith when you found him. You should have used your powers on him and you would have seen it all.
All right. The moment of truth. Cordelia and Erica meet for the first time, really, after they know what happened. There was another one of those scenes where when I was writing it, I just kept staring at a blank page, and it's like, what do you say? Well, how do you place yourself into the mind of these two characters, and like what do they say to each other? It's one of those things that, wow. I mean, there's so much to say, and you just don't want to slow down the game through their conversation, so you have to really think about use each one of those lines to be very meaningful and just get the point across of what they want to say to each other. One of my goals with this whole section is that I wanted to build the full relation between the two of them, and I wanted to take Cordelia to the point where she questioned herself and she questioned her actions, and by what Erica tells her, she starts to look back at what she's done and maybe figure out that, oh, maybe this wasn't right. And the problem with that, or the problem that I faced, was something that you brought up, which was, but that's such a short time to do that. Because you asked me at one point, aren't you sort of breaking who Cordelia is? Should she just be saying this kind of stuff to her, doubting herself and doubting what she's done? But I think that was important because she got broken into two characters, and then she was the good side of her was always there.
But you didn't, Erica. You made a sloppy mistake. The kind of mistake that cost Davies her life.
That's what you wanted me to do? Kill Keith? That's what this was all about. If you wanted this to end so badly, why didn't you kill him yourself?
Killing one of my brothers was enough for me, Erica. People like us are cursed. We can't lead simple lives.
Don't you dare compare me to you. You're a scumbag murderer. You killed Davies. You almost killed Sully, and...
What makes us any different? Tell me you don't want to pull that trigger right now.
Give me one damn good reason not to.
Very well, take this. I found it down in the basement. Use your power on it. Do it.
Cordelia saw that Erica would do these things, but she needed to be alone. And by this point in the story, Erica is alone. Like, she lost John. She's like let go from the FBI station, put off service basically, and now she's all by herself. She's running. She's a fugitive because McAdams is now looking for her because of what she just did. And at this point, Cordelia knew that she had to like sort of take her to that point in order for her to kill Cain. And this is something that she tells her, I saw you doing this. You failed the first time. Let's do it right now. Let's go and let's stop Keith. Which is interesting because she keeps calling him Keith. Erica keeps calling him Cain. Yeah. But now let's do this. And Erica sort of like, well, no, I'm not like you. I want justice. I don't want revenge like you do. And Cordelia is like, well, tell me that you just don't want to kill me right now because of what I've done. And Erica's like, well, yeah, give me a good reason not to do that.
Well, I remember there being, just as sort of like a framing device for their relationship, a discussion at one point of basically like Cordelia doing what you said, like stripping away all of the elements of Erica's life until there's nothing left. Like, there goes Sully, there goes Dad, there goes John. And using her as kind of like a bullet that's only primed once all the other pieces are pulled away. And I don't remember if that ended up being something that was deliberately done, but still, like, the way things all end, where Eric is there with Cordelia and with Keith, and seeing that all play out kind of still does match that. I guess it was never made very explicit.
It wasn't made explicit, but that was the whole idea. It was that was the goal of Cordelia. Mm-hmm. And we went back and forth on what the goal was a little, as we were building the story. But that seemed to make the most sense for what Cordelia's intentions really were. And I mean, part of the importance of that is as well that Erica decides to trust Cordelia at this stage.
He's taken someone, but I can't see who.
Me either. But we can work together to stop this, Erica. We can save that person together. So, what's it going to be?
I don't trust you.
If it helps, this might help me get closer to my goal. I want McAdams.
You really are crazy if you think I'll let you hurt anyone else.
We can talk about that later. Follow me. The clock's ticking. He was here recently. Do you smell the burning wood? Max loved that smell. He and Mom would sit by the fireplace for hours just listening to the embers crackling. Keith would watch them. I can see how there was...
You could have prevented...
Because I saw you. You're a rebel, Erica. You were hurt enough, but for that, you need...
And so you hurt everyone close...
Also, this is, I think, the third or fourth different outfit Cordelia has on throughout the course of the game. Whereas I think Erica, she only wears the black suit, right?
No, she has a second one, which is the intro stuff of the game, of the first episode.
So, Cordelia has her brown jacket, and you see that, and then that's in the first two episodes. In the third episode, we have her, like, elegant wear, and now we have her hat killer wear. And I guess the hat killer isn't, I mean, it is her in principle, but you don't ever see her face.
No.
And it's amazing how these sorts of things, like, seem really subtle. I mean, one, it makes a big impact, like seeing Cordelia dressed up totally differently after seeing her so much in that coat. I mean, if you play the game through, you might see her a couple times and it's like, oh, she wears that coat. But from our perspective, having like worked with that model for months and months, it's like, oh my God, she's still wearing that disgusting coat. And so seeing it change to something else, like her wearing pearls and a dress shirt, it's like, oh, wow, like totally different character almost.
Yeah.
And it takes a fair amount of work to make those changes. It's not just something you can idly do, like, oh, it's a paper doll, throw on a new set of clothes. But it makes a big difference, maybe more so to us than to the player, but it still makes the world feel a little bit more dynamic and less like it's a comic strip or something.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Oh, that's in the interrogation room. I thought that was in the hospital. Okay, and there's some commentary here.
There's a couple of puzzles here. There's obviously the one where you have to, like, once you know the message from Keith that, the place where Max like to spend time on, if you look at the fireplace as Erica, it doesn't tell you anything. But if you look as Cordelia, that's when she says, "Oh, this is where Max used to be," and that's a part of that I like. That it makes you think, okay, well, if somebody's gonna know about these things, about the messages that Keith is leaving, it's Cordelia because she knows this house and she knows the history of the family.
Mhm.
So you have to make sure that you switch to her so that and look at things as her.
Yeah, kind of like in the Black Hole series. You see something, you look at something and you identify it or you describe it as something with one character, and then you look at the same thing with the other character and they say something completely different. Okay, so I was supposed to come in here and get a bunch of tools like this.
This could come in handy.
And this.
Nothing like.
And
this could come in handy.
I don't even remember what I needed them for. So the cup. I'm actually still not sure how that puzzle works. I just know that it worked, but oh well.
What are we looking for?
Let's try the basement. Over there.
Okay, so she suggests the basement.
Cain's
Interestingly enough.
lair. This is the first trap. The George siblings in the old factory. And this one. Joe and Cameron, when he started using tombs. Janelle and Robert, he planned it all here. Scott?
He never lets them live. There's always a backup plan ever since me and Max. You're the only one who ever got away from him.
Cordelia, what was done to you was unspeakable. More than probably anyone else
Don't pretend I did good.
Down in basement, among the conversations on how Cordelia starts to really start thinking about what she's done, Erica questions her about, because she, in her mind, she's right. What she's doing is right, and there's some sort of truth to that. She says something like, because of me, Melissa is alive, because the wise monkey was gonna get her. And when you think of that, would you say, wow, she really did good. But at the same time, why the fuck did you have to screw up Sully to make a point of that? It's hard to really place feelings about Cordelia, knowing what she's done, but also the good she's done. And she's right. I mean, it's because of me that I saved him. And she's like, why don't you told the FBI about it? Erica asks. And she's like, yeah, sure. When I told them and they put me in jail because of it. And then you see, you start to feel, you start to understand that position. But Erica still doesn't understand the fact that she had to hurt Sully. Or that maybe she had sent a more straightforward message, but that didn't work for her in the past either. But then at that point, she sort of asks, I don't know how the conversation often goes, but it goes about Davis and her niece, or how Davis felt, and Erica sort of cuts her off and says, "What do you care about Davis?" Oh, it's because Cordelia asked, Davis had a family. Because at that point she sort of questions, well, maybe she had a family like I did, and I just destroyed that somehow. And Erica just says, "What do you care? You kill her." Mm-hmm. And so here we go back, and Erica sort of had a time to think about it, and she's like, well, yeah, Davis did have a family, and she had a niece, and she loved her. So, and Cordelia starts to doubt herself more and more, the things that she's done, the bad stuff that she has caused. that has nothing to do with the point that she wanted to prove and with what Erica tells her. Maybe she didn't deserve her job, but you didn't have to kill her.
I have no idea what I'm responding to anymore, so let's go with this one.
Killing them wasn't your job. But why Davies? Why Sully? They were doing their job.
No, they weren't.
Melissa?
What did you want me to do?
You're still wrong, Cordelia. You're pretending that...
Okay, wow, that's a bunch of stuff here.
Was it a plan from the very beginning to have there be a number of pairs of siblings that got killed?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why he's called the Cain killer.
But actually revisiting them. Like in the end here, we revisit all those different things. But was it planned to actually explore those in depth?
No. I mean, not from the original synopsis, but when I got here, I wanted to explore a little bit more of Cain's life. Mm-hmm. I knew that at one point we were going to go to his lair, yes. I just didn't know what was going to happen in there. I realized then that we had made this comic and we had all these assets from the comic and things that we told.
That's right, because the assets, or the comic fleshed out some of that backstory, because Katie had those images and she's like, well, I have to write down what happened in some of these other Cain killings. Yes. And I think we used the backstory from the comic.
Right.
That's right, yes.
So there were all those assets in there that I found really interesting that we revisit and that we saw, all the other families that had been affected, just like Erica's, by this guy, and reinforce the idea that we had to stop him. That this was just not something that happened to Cordelia and Erica, but that it could happen to anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any particular inspirations for those different characters?
No, that was I think it was mostly Katie. I mean, we went back and forth on them, and we talked about like the different devices that they could have used. But Katie put the comic together. I like this the sequence, the intro sequence to here. I wanted to make it more cinematic. It was one of those things that I always wanted to do but never happened. I wanted to like really see into traps, really see into Erica when she sees like Scott's trap, to like how she was affected by it.
Yeah, that's true. We never really get much of a sense of her returning to that here.
Yeah,
given
because this is big. I mean, this is huge. This is the lair of the Cain killer. At least I did a couple of things. Like I wrote out the music. I asked Austin to make a new piece for this room, which it's lovely. It's very sinister, and it uses the Cain killer theme, which I love. Oh, there's also like the main theme for the Cain killer was played here for the first time, which is playing in the initial screen, and that's a theme that I love. It's like it has guitars and it's like very fast paced, and I love it.
The sarcophagus puzzle. This drove the testers crazy.
My God, I don't know.
This drove a lot of people
crazy. This
drove
everybody crazy.
Yeah, like we had the company testers, we had the play testers who came in. Everyone played it. They're like, I don't know what's going on, and it makes sense just because it seems like when you move things, she says the lines, but it's not clear that those are like unless you're aware there's a puzzle there and are looking for it and thinking about it from a puzzle-like perspective, which, I mean, that's how I play games. I'm usually like, okay, this is a puzzle. What are the different parts of the puzzle? Like, that's how I approach it. But if you're approaching it from a more, like, naturalistic perspective, it probably makes it trickier.
Well, it's kind of funny because I found, even, like, I think watching Togov play through this, I think that he had a tough time, and even, like, all the testers had a tough time with that puzzle. And in my mind, that puzzle was so simple. And this other puzzle that was really complicated, everybody seemed like to get. I was more concerned about the puzzle of the wheel than the puzzle of the sarcophagus. I say, oh, that's a simple one. Everybody's going to get that very quickly.
Yeah.
And then this one is the one that everybody's going to like, wow, how do I solve this?
I remember in the end what we had to do was just like write a couple lines of dialogue to like direct the player, because we couldn't really change the puzzle around at that point. Too much of it had been completed. So it was like, well, if we have a line that plays where Erica sort of indicates the way the player should be thinking about this, because that was the problem, is people just didn't quite have the right perspective. It wasn't like telegraphed in the right way or something.
Yeah, I don't remember how much time the sarcophagus puzzle took me on my first playthrough. but definitely the wheel puzzle I still don't think I understand.
So this puzzle is one of those puzzles that also does not really work unless you have all the different components there. Like being able to see the past, see the future, switch characters, and then see the overlays. Like unless that stuff's all working, which for a very long time it was not. I remember I came in and like, hey, you need to go through and give us your test notes on this. So I went through, played it, and I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know if there's any way that I can figure it out based on what's here, but I have no idea.
This is one of those puzzles again that we had to go back and forth to make it work, and I had to keep adding and removing stuff, and this doesn't make sense, and let's change this and let's fix this. Because puzzles, you have them in your mind and you create them, then they sort of work, but then they're like, they really don't not, like you have to like write messages to help, you know, sort of hints, but not really, to sort of point the players in the right direction. Or like we had pieces of the puzzle that were too similar and you can like really see what they were, and we had to change some of the way that the traps looked, or they weren't looking like exactly like the comics.
Was this puzzle substantially different, like one where you have to look at the map of Boston, or was that pretty much
No,
as
it was
turned
pretty
out?
much as it turned out. We just had to like make it so that it worked. I mean, it was the same idea that I wrote down, but it took a lot of, you know, work to bring it there. And then there was also, I mean, the fact that you could switch between the two characters. This is the first time that you can actually do that in the game. Basically, the only time that you can switch between Eric and Cordelia, and how each one of them gives the different responses. Cordelia will work for some things, Erica will work for other things, and that's something that sometimes the player didn't think about.
Yeah, we had to write some new lines for some of that, I think.
Yeah.
So, lunch? Okay. Oops. I'm gonna pick up the screen. I'm gonna save. Because this is more convenient. And attempt the puzzles.
What is this? Another one of his games.
And how do we solve this one?
If I knew the answer, I would have already solved it.
I'm gonna try to do it based on Erica's responses.
Looks like I can push these in and out. I should try moving them around. I'm not really sure what I'm doing here.
Maybe this one.
Come on! Open up, you piece of crap!
Or that one, I think is this one. No,
What's the trick?
Here. Can you bring it here?
Erica, the stuff you're saying. Keep it up. I think I'm getting something related to it through my power that will help us open this thing.
Oh, that's a dead giveaway.
I'm not really sure what I'm... This is impossible.
Oh, is this one? I just don't want Cordelia to say these lines online again because it's unskippable.
Someone's about to die, and I'm here playing with a toy.
Nope, it's not this one.
Open, damn it!
Okay, let's say it's that one.
Great.
Nope.
Come on, I don't have all night. Fucking A. I give up.
Oh. But it's still not this one. Okay, Cordelia, help out.
Ideas, Cordelia?
She asks Cordelia for help. I think I got that one wrong. I think that was right.
Give up.
I actually forgot what I was.
Mom, I don't have all night. Really frustrating.
Erica, the stuff you're saying. Keep it up.
Here
I
it
think I'm
is.
getting something related to it through my power that will help us open this thing.
So this is made intentionally unskippable so that the player has to be definitely reminded. This piece of information definitely has to be brought up to their attention, otherwise tough. So asks Cordelia for help, then she says it's frustrating, I think. Then she said she gives up, and then she didn't have all night.
Come on! Oh! What's the trick? Do you have any ideas, Cordelia?
Right. Then frustrating.
There's no way I... Oh, this is...
Okay. Then she says she gives up.
I don't know...
I think it was
Someone's
the third
about
one.
to die. Open, damn it!
No, that's damn it.
I give up.
That's I give up. And then this is
How
all
does
night.
this work? Great.
Right. Okay.
Look at all this stuff.
I didn't know he was this disturbed.
This isn't uncommon for serial killers.
He took a lot from both.
What do you care? You murdered her.
Oh, that was her reference to Davies. Oh, Cordelia is really not liking me in this playthrough. Not good. Okay, so I have a bunch of stuff. Now what?
This looks familiar. Seen it before?
I have, but not put together like this.
He knows about us, doesn't he?
Of course, and he must be experimenting on us right now.
She says
How long would a
this
pair of
looks familiar.
scions take to...
You didn't even plan all of it, did you?
He helped me put it together. He gave me ideas. No, I was in control.
Where is he then?
You were supposed to kill him.
What a stupid plan.
Oh man, I remember like this being a nightmare to put together, this whole thing, especially the stuff down below.
Going upstairs and downstairs and then having all the different puzzle
Oh,
pieces.
this wheel was crazy. It was crazy to put together, like all the programming logic that went into it and how it would not work. And I was screaming at Brittany at one point, "This is not working."
How did you take that?
I don't know. She's like, put down everything, I'll make it work.
Yeah, well, I mean, so because of the different puzzles down here, I mean, there's the logic just between the characters and what you do, but then there's the logic of the close-up of the city, and then there's also the logic for the other puzzle where you're moving the sliders, and trying to navigate all that in the diagrams was just a nightmare. It's like, something's not working here, and I'm gonna go try to find out what it is to fix it. Holy crap. There is way more here than it can reasonably be expected to like be sifted through.
Yeah, this was one of the things that was just a nightmare in the way that it was built, and it was like one of those things. I tend to write very complicated puzzles.
And if you don't write them, you will suggest them.
Okay, so that was what 1, 2, 3, and these two. Oh, 7 and 8. It even displays them. And Cordelia sees 3, 4, 7, and 10, I think it was.
I think we can press them. I'll leave this to Erica.
Okay.
What are we supposed to do with it?
If I know Keith, it's some sort of combination.
I don't even remember how I solved it exactly.
Those two don't.
I think I was supposed to put the cup somewhere.
Those two
maybe?
don't.
No.
Think, Eric.
Think, Erica, think. Well... Oh, maybe it was... what is the same? So, 1, 3... One, 3, and 7. Wait, this is a little bit throwing me off because in the visions the buttons are still pressed. Right, whatever's the same. So it's 1, 3, 7, 8. Okay, so that makes sense.
I'm getting tired of this game.
What are you going to do when we find Keith?
He's going to answer for what he's done.
Couldn't figure it out. Like, and
What do you want it to be, Cordelia?
Understand the puzzle.
I don't know. What matters to me is that he understands. Maybe to make up. Maybe I should have come right to you, Eric.
What about what you've done?
I remember also, so this puzzle gets you a whole bunch of little figurines. You get like 12 figurines or something, and some of the players were kind of overwhelmed, like, whoa, I have a lot of stuff.
The inventory, when you open it, it goes like down to like half of the screen.
Yeah, it's like I have a bunch of weird like because once you open the sarcophagus puzzle as well, you have all these like trinkets and then all these figurines. We tried figuring out a way to simplify it down to like make it so that it was all just on-screen elements and not inventory stuff, but you had to look at them and you had to use them, and I think only one character was going to be able to look at them. Like if we allow you to switch, suddenly Erica and Cordelia would be able to do it. It's amazing how many things aren't necessarily evident on the paper. Like when I would design something, I had to sort of think like, okay, because working on episode 3 in particular, everything had to do with switching characters, and so every look that you do in the game, you need to have different perspectives, and what is the perspective of that character, what scene are they in. And in something like this, if you're designing the puzzles with Erica in mind, which they were, because Erica's still the protagonist here, but you might not account for the fact that the person's playing as Cordelia for whatever reason, and having to design everything accounting for the player doing that, or making sure that they don't do that if the story moment you're leading to requires you to be in control of Erica or whatever.
Yeah, because sometimes you feel like, Cordelia says something like, oh, Erica's better for this. That's my way, just to say, just switch to Erica so that you can play through this, because we need Erica here.
That's what happens when Erica's around. John's like, yeah, Erica will do it. Cordelia's like, yeah, Erica will do it.
It's fine. It's a big inventory, there's lots of width and height, so I mean, they could have given these items to Cordelia, for example, and Erica could have been supposed to only figure out which belongs to which, and then tell Cordelia where to put which item. but that would have been a little bit more cumbersome in terms of programming, I guess. And maybe the player wouldn't have understood what the idea was. Anyway, this is fine. So actually Cordelia was supposed to tell us which goes in which quadrant.
This is where the group for this trap goes.
The group for that trap. So I have one of them. I have no idea where it is. Ah, there it is. So let's see, can I figure it out? I don't think I remember enough. Then was this vision? Oh. We'll buy some time.
This is where the group for this trap goes.
Kinda like this part of the puzzle where you have to look at the items, see these visions, and kind of reenact at least some bits and pieces of those moments. Okay, so that is supposed to be what? And very good, no. This might be it. Your brother was saved from. No, this is. Wait, what? Isn't this the lid on the coffin? Okay, so it should be your blood. No, you bleed, he breathes. Yep, that's it. Let's see what's here.
This is where the group for this trap goes.
Right.
This one doesn't fit.
Yeah, it does. I just didn't look at the bottom of it. Didn't know if the bottom was a circle or a square. There is a trap and another blood, and then this. Nah, I already looked those in the regular playthrough. Hey!
Is that?
Still sure you were the one in control?
Back to us. Okay, so there's supposed to be more figurines. Let's see. No, Cordelia has to. Or not.
Consider this. There is a Max figurine. It's in a place only Cordelia would know.
In a place
Anything?
only Cordelia would know.
He talked to me. Damn you.
Okay, didn't I have another figurine? Nope. Go upstairs then. Oh, I was supposed to use the cup with water on this.
Erica, please don't. Not unless it's necessary. The fire's helping to cheer me up.
Oh, come on.
He was here recently.
You cannot see anything.
No.
Wow, she even says... What was
No. But maybe I could use Cordelia's hand to search it.
Wow. Still doesn't like her, eh? What would convince Cordelia that we have to put the fire away? I actually don't think that much water is enough.
Do you have any ideas,
put the
Cordelia?
fire away, but
Let me look around. I'm sure that could trigger some memories.
Okay.
This must be Cordelia.
Was this supposed to
Think,
do
Eric.
this? Nope.
Those two.
Nope. Oh, maybe used in the fireplace?
Those two don't.
Nope.
Erica, please don't.
Oh, come on. Okay, so Cordelia, come over here, I guess, and...
Daddy, with Senator...
This must be Cordelia's.
We were happy.
Okay. Right. How can I make the connections again? I don't remember.
Eric.
Think, Eric.
Wait, didn't she submit her gun to McAdams?
Do you have any ideas, Cordelia?
Let me look around. I'm sure that could trigger some memories. Max would spend hours...
Now we need to put out the fire to search through it.
Okay. So you just simply have to investigate with Cordelia.
This should help. Now let's look. I found Max, I think.
You can keep it.
I thought you liked his games.
I never did. That was the problem.
Okay, how about this?
This must be Cordelia's father.
Daddy, with Senator Aaron Light. Daddy. Why would I do that?
I don't know, you're not supposed to have it anyway. Why do you have it, Cordelia?
We were happy.
Why do you have that figurine?
This must be Cordelia.
Why would I do that?
That won't...
Erica, no!
Wait, what
Erica, no! That photo means a lot to me.
Unless you
Don't
can
do
prove to me that it's important. Okay, how do we turn around the picture? I mean, she says it.
With Senator Aaron Light.
It was something like, oh, maybe she...
I feel there must be a clue in that Max figurine you found.
Right. Okay. So maybe she has to do it?
It's badly burned. There's something written on it, but it's way too small for me to read.
Oh, way too small, sure.
It says, find a light in the darkness. Any ideas?
No, but I can look around and see if I remember anything.
Well, here it is.
Daddy, with Senator Aaron Light. That's Daddy. Things would be so different if...
She had a niece. Davies did. She loved her to pieces. When she was around, maybe she wasn't perfect, but she didn't deserve maybe she didn't deserve her rank, but
Daddy would have said that. He liked people that did good. He said the senator's last name was not a coincidence. Wait. Aaron Light. A light. Look for a light. Keith, you tricky little... Erica, look at this.
Did he hide it there?
Only one way to find out.
Here, let me take a look. Ugh.
I'd be very eager to kill him if I were you.
My job is justice, not revenge. I'm not like you.
We'll see, when the two of you are face to face.
And then there's a whole puzzle with the senator picture, which I really love, because there was a point in episode 4 where we're gonna go through like the catacombs, and there was gonna be a bunch of puzzles with like dead people and stuff.
Which, I remember that, yeah, like the big long catacomb sequence being written out. Yeah.
But that never happened, and when I finally wrote the final design for it, I never wrote anything like that. But there was a puzzle from there that I really like, because one of the backers, and actually one of the programmers, both backers and
programmers. The lead programmer, right?
Yeah, well, not the interface programmer.
Right.
Aaron Light, he was like, I don't know how, but I was just looking at his name and then, so his name could be A Light. Oh my god, that is such a good thing for like a puzzle. I have to make a puzzle out of this.
Have a puzzle, yep.
And that's why, I left that message, find a light in the darkness, and then you have to use that message with the picture, knowing that the guy is Aaron Light.
Yeah, I was really surprised because I was like, what is Aaron's name doing in this game? Like, what happened between him and you that you were indebted to him to put his name in the game? But no, he's a backer.
He's a backer. He gave money before he actually started working with us.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I mean, he had worked with us on the server line, but he wasn't part of the company group, the paid group. He came in later, so he backed Cognition, and then we had to use his name, and that was the perfect way to use it. It was like, oh, you have such a perfect game for a puzzle.
Well, that's a good puzzle. I like it. Okay, so now we have 2 of 3 needed figurines.
There's one missing. This must be who we're looking for. Knowing Keith, we're not going to find it easily. We'll need to figure this one out.
Okay, we'll figure it out. I'm gonna save. Because that's a good time to do so, I believe. But you cannot use your powers. I can use projection. Yeah, forgot about this part. And this BP tune again.
What the fuck? Dad! No! No! You knew about this!
No, but I know where they are now. I just saw it.
Shit, they must have followed me.
Not so fast. You need to get me out of here. I can leave through the back, but you have to help me.
Shit! Go!
You'll need this. Bring McAdams to Mount Auburn Cemetery.
Where Scott died?
We'll save your dad. He's one of the good guys.
Where it all started. Okay, now I'm gonna try to appeal to McAdams because if I don't, I believe he
This was one of the.
probably
I think
definitely
it's one of my
dies.
favorite sequences in the whole game, just because it feels so alive.
Yeah, I agree. Like the fact that it's a really concentrated interaction, the fact that we know these characters and their history.
And also, I mean, the fact that they're in a car that is moving, you feel like there's life, like it's part of something that you will find in real life, or a situation that you will find in real life that has nothing to do with finding an adventure, a character from an adventure game that is just standing doing nothing. Like this is happening. He's driving. He's getting somewhere, and the interactions are happening in between. So I think that makes it like really different.
Yeah, and just like it's just very dynamic because it's not a static background.
Right.
There's just so much possibility for things to change, and there's not even a lot of interactions, but it's one of those things that just feels really directed, and just like I like the interactions between McAdams and Erica so much here.
That's what you were talking about. I remember when you were like going
not
through.
Not deaf or blind.
I remember when you were going through when you left the notes of the scene in the document.
All
you
the
were
feedback
like,
notes,
all
yeah.
the feedback. There was like, yes, it was a big yes from you. This, I love this.
Yeah.
Katie did a good job because she wrote most of the scene. I came in later and I did a pass just to make sure that we really make of McAdams a character that wasn't just about being an ass. But here, I mean, in the first part of the sequence is mostly about like, just like finding a way to get McAdams to stop the car so that you can just get in control, because now he's the one in control. And you're sort of like, there's this sarcasm from Erica in the way that she says things, which it's really signature from Katie. And I normally like back down on a lot of the things that Katie tried to put in, just because I think that by this stage there was no room for humor. But in this case, it just had to be like it was a perfect opportunity to have some of her snarky comments going through Erica.
Yeah.
What were you doing back there?
That doesn't matter. You have to listen to me.
If you are not going to answer my question...
So when Erica finally, like, she's just like going over the edge, and then she does one more thing, which is like...
She just really wanted to drive. McAdams wouldn't let her, so it came to this.
At this point, Erica knows that she has to save her, and that's what she does. That's the kind of person that she is. When she wants to do something, especially if it is family related, she will do it.
That's what you identify with.
Well, I don't identify personally with her, but it's something that Jack Bauer would do. I love this because we go from McAdams being in control to now Erica being in control. And now you see, and maybe because of this, now you see a face of McAdams that we didn't see before. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, how far are you gonna go, Erica? But at the same time, it now opens to one of the best conversations in the whole game, which is now we bring McAdams down and he's a human being. All these things that he's telling her, I think that one of my favorite lines is, I know that you think I'm your enemy, but I'm not, and things will be much easier for you the minute that you realize that. You don't like the book, but I have to do things by the book because that's what my job requires me to do. And you don't understand that, and you make my life difficult because of that. And it's really open. Also, the fact here that she tries to defend herself by saying, you don't have a family, which also opens, like, it gives you a window into McAdams' life. Maybe that's why I don't have a family, he says to her, because I know that I would be the same as you if I did. And the other fact is, like, when they're talking about Jetta, well, you care about Jetta and you told me to protect her. Yes, but I didn't put her before the job that needed to be done. I still risk her life. And depending on whether she dies or not, well, that plays out into the conversation, but it just defines McAdams really well. I think that this is one of those very interesting conversations that...
It finally comes around, so you see that full perspective, starting from the first episode, all the way around to him actually kind of being vulnerable.
Yeah.
You see what he does care about.
I've really done it this time. How the hell am I gonna get... McAdams.
What?
Yeah, right. He's not gonna listen to... Can we stop for a minute? I'm getting carsick.
I wasn't born yesterday, Reed. Suck it up.
Jerk.
I also was... or blind.
Whoa. Okay, I haven't seen this before. So this happens, and you can see she's perfectly uncuffed.
McAdams.
What?
Oh, she's gonna stay that way. Beautiful, just beautiful. I was just trying to interact with the radio. Oh.
McAdams locked the window.
Right, so, jeez.
McAdams.
Turn the radio.
What?
Mind rolling the window down? Your cologne's killing me here.
Fine.
If that was the ending.
What are you doing?
Trying to stretch. You might not... I need some noise in here.
Well...
McAdams.
What?
McAdams.
Fine, you win the quiet
Radio.
game. Turn on the radio at least.
Your comfort is not my concern.
Why don't we talk about what you did to Cordelia Smith then? You want to discuss that? Because I...
Fine.
There's also a little, kind of an Easter egg, I guess, if you're in the know. If you turn on the radio, or I guess no, McAdams just does by default turn on the radio, but the band that plays is Vitek's band.
Yeah,
right?
it is Vitek's band,
So
which is the vice president of our company, and he has a band because he's a rock star.
Pretty much.
And you see Vitek. Vitek is totally a rock star. When you haven't met.
I've never.
Vitek.
Actually, I'm gonna meet him like tomorrow.
Yeah, he's a rock star.
Yeah.
He's like the coolest dude ever.
But for that, did you ask him about this, or did you just sneak it in and? Like...
Well, he wanted to. He had asked me, "Hey, it would be really cool to have a song that we can put in." And I just had this scene, and I needed a song. I was like, "Oh, this is a perfect opportunity, Vitek. I need one of your songs."
It's a little bit weird, just because the music in the entire game has been non-diegetic, just all Austin stuff. Then to hear something that's more like a pop song suddenly come in, is like, whoa! It creates a really nice tone because it's like cruising music, but it's also just sort of odd because we've never had anything like that show up, except maybe like that one song in Melissa's apartment, or
right. That was Mikey and his wife that you hear.
Things are so clear now since we have.
What the fuck was that?
A lot of people ask. I'm gonna answer a question because a lot of people ask, where the heck did that caltrop come from? Why do I have this in my inventory?
How
if
is
you
she so
remember,
accurate?
in the previous scene, Cordelia at one point tells you, "Hey, you'll need this."
that's what she gives it to her. Yeah,
that's what she.
That's where that thing comes from. For those that still question that.
Don't want to be without it. Don't want to.
What do you mean? Stop!
Believe it or not, I really am sorry, but I don't have time for this.
Are you fucking insane, Reed? Let me out of these cuffs now!
I can't do that, McAdams. Cain is out there, and if I don't bring you to her, he's going to kill my father.
What the hell are you talking about?
McAdams,
Save it. And now you...
I didn't want it to go down like this, McAdams. If you just trusted...
What are you talking about?
You haven't trusted me since Scott was kidnapped.
Reed, goddammit. My job requires me to do things by... What do you know about Cordelia Smith?
I know the truth. I know what you did.
You refuse to stop living in the past, Reed. Mistakes happen. They may be tragic, but there's no going back.
I wonder what would she say if we choose the you are wrong option. But that is not going to make him like her a little bit. And I think I kind of need this at this point, since I want to be able to save him. I think that's how it worked though. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, let's say this.
You're right. There's no changing the past or bringing back the people you've lost or wronged.
The best anyone can do is learn from it. I'm sorry for what happened to that. You aren't the only one who lost someone you cared about.
I know you're still hung up on me because of Jeddah.
The difference is that I wouldn't have gone out on a personal vendetta. You have too much. The minute we make it personal is when we risk the lives of those.
Look, I'm just asking you to listen. I'm not crazy. Cain is back out there.
And what makes you so certain of any of that?
Well, maybe if I had listened to what he has to say.
I know because Cordelia Smith is the one behind every killing, and the Cain killer is her brother Keith Smith.
How can I believe you given the way you've been acting?
That was an accident.
You're FBI. Your job...
Yes, there's more. I'd rather do this with your help.
Keith Smith has been missing and presumed dead for 6 years.
What a better way to get away with murder? He forced Cordelia to kill Max after learning. Think about it, McAdams. He fits the profile.
Shit! Then where the hell has he been for the last 3 years?
Chained up in the basement of the Enthon Towers.
What?
So...
Fine. If it'll bring them in and save your father, you've got my help.
I have to warn you, Cordelia wants you dead.
I can take care of myself. How do you know where the hell you're heading?
Cordelia told me.
You just told me this woman is a murderer.
And she's also a victim of your negligence.
Are you justifying her, Reed?
No, McAdams. I know what my job is.
Okay, so that was that. I hope that's enough.
You came. I told you I'd help. You brought him.
What do you want with him?
That is between him and me.
Wait, is he still in handcuffs?
Don't we have something better to do than chat about this?
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
So we're working with a killer now, Reed.
Listen.
Yes, indeed.
She...
Okay.
He's down there. If we want to save your father, we'll have to play his game. We'll have to let him capture us. Otherwise, the outcome, I can't see it ending well.
How is that a good plan at all?
We'll have a chance. I see these sorts of things, remember? You have to trust me.
Get me the fuck out of here!
You'll betray me. You've seen that one too? I told you, the future is a fickle thing. I do want to help you, Erica, but I am who I am. I make no promises about what happens down there.
The same. I can't promise what I'll do after my father is safe. Are you ready?
There's a new vision in this episode, a new future vision. And I think that Erica has learned that not to really trust the visions, but at the same time, it's hard not to trust something that you're seeing. This is the second time that she had it. The first time was in that dream that she had. And she sees herself sort of being betrayed by Cordelia. which is sort of what we wanted to do. We wanted to make it feel like Cordelia was gonna betray him, when really what's happening is that she's saving Erica. But
Yes,
we
exactly.
play through that in a way that just make you feel like the one that like she was betraying her, and I think that we did a good job at making it seem so.
Will you keep my father safe? I'll handle Cain.
You're too invested in this, Erica.
I'll do my job, McAdams. But I know Cain better than you do.
Fine. But I'll be there if you screw up.
At the
Oh, you
end
sure
of
will.
the car sequence, it's crucial because depending on all the choices that you made through the episode, and depending on the choices that you made while talking to McAdams there, you can either get him on your side or just sort of like drag him along. And he's not really on your side, but he's there because he wants to really save your dad, because that's his job. You could take his gun, and then you can either choose to give it to Cordelia. Like if you were on his bad side, at a sequence where you can give the gun to Cordelia plays. And that is crucial because that plays into what happens in the tomb. So there's a lot
There's a lot of little moving pieces that are
Yeah.
really easy to miss because it's not. I mean, sometimes it's clear what the choices are and what can happen, but in some cases the choices are reflections of things that happened like several scenes ago.
Mhm.
And so it's actually easy to miss some of the particularities of why things panned out the way they did or what could have been different.
I remember watching, I think that it might have been Kevin, where it's like the gun question comes on, and he's like, what do I do? What do I do? I don't know what to do. Who do I give the gun to? And that's exactly like, I felt so rewarded by that, because that's exactly the kind of feeling that I wanted to, instill in people.
Dad!
He's alive, still. Why do you have to bring a full party? It makes things more difficult.
Let him go, you bastard! Didn't you get enough with Scott?
No, I've been waiting too long to finish this, and it has to be done right. Cordelia, apologies, Agent.
I struggle a little bit with what to do here in terms of the puzzles and what happened. I wanted another situation that felt like the stakes were higher and higher every time. And I found that, if you whisper, this thing is going to go the other way, because that's what he likes. He likes to hurt people, and he wants to see them reacting to that. Mm-hmm. Like he wants to see how far will people go to defend the ones that they love, because in a way he didn't feel this with his brother and his sister, and he felt alienated. And what are your thoughts behind Cain?
So, I mean, I wrote him initially just as like Keith, the guy, and we had to sort of figure out how his feelings as being the killer later were going to manifest. And I think initially the idea was that he didn't really understand people and emotions and things, and liked to just sort of like open them up and study them and put them together the way he likes to tinker with other objects. And I think that like there were other components that layered in, especially the idea of him wanting to see on display emotions in people that weren't in his life, the kind of connection that he never really felt with his sister and brother, using people kind of like they were little machines to sort of see how they would react and to try to get them to care. But I think that in general, he turns way more villainous in this episode, which makes it seem like his neurosis is like full blown now.
Yeah.
And you can sort of see what's happened from the past, like
Right.
6 years past.
Also, this puzzle here, but I don't know that it came as good as I wanted it to be, because I mean, I guess that the idea with this is that if you talk to Cordelia, he's like in his vision still, like you can see sort of to the side, and you can see her there, and the same with McAdams. That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
I think he should have been like a little bit back, so that turning or your peripheral vision, you can see McAdams that is there, because the idea was that you had to like lie with him through your dad. And say something to your dad, and then that's what caught him off and makes him turn around, and that's when you act. That was the whole idea of the puzzle, and I was like very insistent about the positions of these characters, and I took a picture of this and I like moved them. This is where they need to be now, because McAdams used to be like way behind, and like no, that doesn't work.
Yeah, this was another one of those puzzles that it was really hard to read. Because, I mean, again, if I'm coming in, I've read the script, but details like positioning of characters and stuff aren't clear in scripts a lot of the time for solving puzzles. But I'll come in and be like, okay, so 3 of the characters are represented by cubes, and I've got to talk to one of the cubes, and doing so will allow me to kick the cube in the middle. Seeing that translated into something,
Right.
It's hard to give like fitting feedback for that sort of thing.
Make sure those are tight. Did you take her weapon?
Yes.
And his?
You don't need to worry about him. He's my problem.
Bristol, she
Take
looks
care of
down.
her. Stand over there where I can
to
see
her.
you both. You wanted to copy me eventually, Cordelia. Isn't that right?
And then
kill
nods.
me? The same I kill?
I never wanted to kill you, Keith.
No. You just made me
Looks down
wish
to her,
I was
please,
dead.
and looks up and then
The
nods.
Cordelia I loved, she would never be so cruel.
You changed everything when you made me kill Max. And we're here now and can't even talk the way we used to. That connection only you and I had. I don't want you dead, but for this to stop, you have to die.
It's a mystery to me what goes on in your beautiful brain sometimes. But I have a theory. What will you do after I'm dead? I never mourned over Max's death, but you do have a conscience, Cordelia, and you've been suppressing it so you could act freely. But when it wakes up, when moms and dads and Max's memory awaken you, there won't be a swift death that will allow your brain to cope with what you've done to get here. Your domino effect failed, just as I knew it would.
So
Agent
dramatic.
Reed never killed me. And so, who will kill me now, sister? It won't be you. We both know that your conscience wouldn't let you.
I don't know. We'll
Exactly
find
my thoughts.
someone else.
Erica Reed, I've learned so much about you over the...
Alright, skip.
As I push this lever, this...
What do you get from all this?
It's a subject that's always interested me. These human connections of love and family.
Yeah, this
Because
one
the
here.
only time I
How's
felt a
that?
connection to her, she preferred someone else. So, shall we begin the experiment?
Yes, indeed. Okay. Actually, really, can he really see McAdams with that positioning? I would still argue that's not very plausible, but if you fail once and try to grab him with your legs, then you can sense, oh, if he's turned sideways, then it's okay, but it doesn't make much sense. So he has to be completely 180 degrees, which means you have to talk to dad. I mean, I'm gonna still save her because there is always time and room to die. Okay.
Dad, do it now!
Yes, it's done. Okay. Wow, he survives.
McAdams, are you okay?
Interesting.
We have to go after him.
This guy
Cordelia,
survived.
What are you doing?
You're burning.
Let Max die.
And this person that we're seeing here, we see
And a
McAdams
gunshot.
shooting Keith. If not, if you gave the gun to Cordelia, if you're not on McAdams' side, you actually get to play as Cordelia, and then you like have to push this machine and like drive it into Keith, and he like gets stabbed. I like those little things, how they make the game different and how
I
different people
see.
probably experience it. Because I saw it even in the playtest, it varied.
Yeah.
Between like 2 guys did have his straws and 2 other guys didn't have his straws.
The playtests were really interesting for me. So what we do is we get volunteers to download the game as it was still in progress, and then we would watch them on Google Chat. And so we'd have like 5 or 6 different little windows at the bottom of different people's playthroughs, and you could monitor them all and zoom in on people. And ask them questions or type questions into the chat if they got stuck or if something wasn't complete or something. Watching a bunch of people play an adventure game, especially one that you've designed, is very strange. Because I know how I play adventure games, and I just have, you assume that's how people play them. Like I have a way of going about entering a scene. There's some things I'm thorough about. There are some things I'm not. There are times when people like just kind of click through the dialogue or not even ask all the questions, and I'm like, "What are you doing? You have to like." I know you don't have to ask the questions, but you've got to ask the questions, right? And so just seeing all the different play styles really instilled an appreciation for the variety of experience, because there are some games that expect that, right? Like you play Civilization, there's a whole bunch of different decisions you can make based upon your personal preferences. With adventure games, because you're there ostensibly for the story, if you decide, I'm only going to like do half the stuff that's there, for me, if I'm designing a game, it's like, well, no, but you really want that, because that's where the experience of the game comes from. It was really good seeing that. Not to mention, it was also just good seeing the different ways people made assumptions about the game world that I would never.
Yeah.
Seeing the combinations of items they tried to do, or like, why can't Cordelia do this thing? It's like,
right. It does open your eyes to a lot of things, like, and then from that, it gives us a chance to like fix the game before we actually release it, and not hear it like other people talk about that, because it's like, there are some people there's some things that are so obvious that when you see somebody try them, you're like, oh, Jesus, why didn't I think of that? And it happened to me with the Silver Lining, where we didn't have playtests, where I would see then the Let's Play of the Silver Lining, and I would like see somebody trying to do something, and there was no feedback. And it totally makes sense what they were trying to do, but there was no feedback telling them, no, this is not what you have to do. It's like, why didn't I think of that?
It's amazing how difficult it can be to just try to map all this stuff in your head. Like if I have a game world where there's art and I have the inventory objects, I can just sit there and I have it all in front of me, and I can think through very clearly all the different things that the characters are going to do. But if it's just on paper, having to like hold in my head all the information, like there's these screens, there's these characters, I have these 5 objects, I've got a gun, what happens if I shoot the things in this scene? I've got a flower, what happens if I try to use the flower on these things? Like, it is always this weird balance of like, as soon as I see the game, I'm just like, oh, I know all the things that need to be fixed and adjusted, but it's too late because we're going to be publishing it in another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
No, Cordelia. You can't make him responsible for the actions of your brother.
He could have tried. He could have listened to me.
I can't change what happened, Miss Smith, but killing me won't bring your brother back.
You could have done more.
Okay, so how about this?
He could, but you have to understand it wasn't even his case.
So that's how you see our lives? As a case? No wonder you failed.
Look, he didn't do his job, but he's a good agent, and he has helped a lot of people.
Yeah, well,
if you kill him, you'll just be taking away someone else's chance to find closure and peace.
But I want the closure. I want peace.
There's actually 2 outcomes here. She could actually kill McAdams. That happens. And I think it's interesting because I don't know how really would Erica feel if she really chooses McAdams, because after this it seems like it doesn't matter what you choose, it goes back to the same reactions in the end. And that's one of the things that is really hard when you start doing these branches and the choices that you have to keep up with each one of them. And obviously sometimes because of lack of time you cannot just do 3 different versions of like an outcome, but you try to handle them in the better way that you can. And I thought that this decision on Cordelia was the most crucial decision that you could get her to make, whether she embraces becoming the fucked up person that she is, or whether she takes a step back and really listens to Erica and realizes that what she's done is wrong, and that these people, they're not really responsible for what happened to her.
Luckily, Erica has a lot of sway. Yeah, it's just like, she says, yes, you should kill him, or no, you shouldn't. And Cordelia's like, yeah, you're right.
Listen to what your brother told you. Listen to your fucking conscience.
I can't.
Well, oh, Okay. So there you go,
McAdams, are you hurt?
I'll live.
Stay with my dad. I'm gonna catch Cain.
Catch her, too.
Well, I guess that's one way to save him.
You're not getting away this time. You think I didn't search these tunnels 100 times already trying to find you? How can he just vanish without a trace?
We've been searching this place forever, Red. I think we've reached a dead end here. Hey, listen, kid. You're exhausted. You haven't slept in days.
I can't give up, John. I have to find whoever did this.
We'll keep searching, Erica. We'll find him. But let's go home tonight. You need some rest, kid.
Son of a bitch.
Erica! Erica, wake up, please!
Get me the fuck out of here!
I'm trying!
Where's Cain?
Wow, that's one hell of a
I
backup
don't know.
plan.
I'm trying to help you.
Okay.
I can't
use your power.
I can't reach it.
Right. Okay, let me figure this out.
Can I save you?
Now we're here on the prelude to the real ending. Because the
like they're
one
skating.
before is not the ending. This is like Final Fantasy or Japanese RPGs when this is not the final boss battle. Now you have a real boss battle.
Have I ever gotten to the end of a Final Fantasy game? I never have.
Really?
I've gotten incredibly close to like 4 endings, but for various reasons I've never actually beaten a Final Fantasy game's final boss.
Shame on you.
I agree.
The sequence was really cool because initially it was gonna be a playable sequence, and then we spent more time doing other things rather than this, and we took the focus out of this because I wanted it to be again very fast paced, and so this comes back to like I was here in these catacombs for so many days and I never found this, but now that I have my power and I can control that power really well, I see it, and fuck. Why didn't I see this before? I had a lot of fun with this trap. You know, you get to a point where it's like, well, I built so many of this mechanism, and I need to make this one another puzzle. What do I do with this one?
Yeah, it's tough to keep coming up with variations of things that seem unique, but that are still providing the same function. Was there a particular thing that inspired you for this one?
I don't know. I don't think so. It was just mostly
a toaster, maybe.
Yeah, I was eating my morning sandwich, looking at toaster like, this is it. There's heat. The shape is right there. And there's this thing that keeps going up and down.
Yeah.
Drink.
Delicious.
Bread is done. No, I think I wanted to come up with something that wasn't that complicated because I didn't want to like have people spend a lot of time in this, but at the same time I wanted something that people will feel clever about. And at the same time something that felt, because Cordelia is the one doing this, and I wanted it to be like a something between the two of them. And that you also feel like Cordelia was genuinely helping you get out of this.
Yeah, I think that was key, was that you were controlling Cordelia, which, we had spent the last episode and this one sort of setting up.
Yeah.
And seeing that actually kind of pay off in this final trap.
what is interesting is that in my mind, when I wrote the first treatment of Cognition, this was just not gonna happen. I mean, there was nothing like this ever in the game. The whole sequence at the end, it ended up somehow in a place like this, in like a catacombs, and then you were chasing Cordelia, and then there was gonna be something about trying to use your powers and to like trick her powers, and then she ended up killing herself. But that's not what happened, because I don't think that we had much of the Cain killer in that. I think that by this time the Cain killer had died already. It was totally different, and it became this. It became a trap, because I think that that's how it needed to end. This is in a way fighting Cain. This was like she's been trying to do all of this time.
Nope. Save, okay. So.
It controls the chain's position. It won't engage. Maybe it depends on the way Erica is balanced in the trap. It won't engage.
Oh,
It locks the crane's rotation. It's locked.
Cordelia, what the hell are you doing?
I need to know the numbers, Erica. Act fast.
Come on, the numbers.
Do it.
I can't reach it.
What?
Pull me back. Pull me back now. Oh, I loosened it. I should be able to reach it now.
Ready? Erica, hurry up!
I'm trying, damn it!
You don't have much time.
Just shut up and let me do this!
I'm pulling you back.
No, wait, I almost got it. It's 753. Now pull me back. That was close. Did that do it?
That's how it was supposed to go down, except that last time it bugged out.
Erica!
Unfortunately.
Keith, stop it!
Okay, so here you do this. And face again. And block. No? Oh. Whoa, okay, that escalated quickly.
And I was so close.
I forgot how to do this fight, but... Okay, that was different. I don't know why it showed me a different thing last time.
I'm not sure how I feel about this. This was really, it was meant to be different.
What do you feel like is the problem, though?
Well, I think that it could have been better in terms of feedback.
Like giving you more clues? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do the different sizes mean something? I actually don't know what
No, they don't. And I think it's cool once you get the hang of it.
Did Elisa do this? The art?
Yeah.
Did you mostly let her just go nuts? Like, hey, draw like crazy, creepy pizza face man getting kicked and punched, or...
Well, no, it was a sequence. We devised the sequence to be in a certain way, like. And then I actually gave it an idea, and they came back with like a bunch of like different punches. They sort of choreographed it, and it was like, oh, this is great. Yeah, let's go with this.
Was it Elisa mostly behind that, or
Mikael and Elisa?
Yeah, that made okay. Because part of me went, like, how did Elisa feel about drawing like a pus-covered Keith over and over again in a bunch of fighting poses and all the research? But I could see, like, you get a little bit of Mikhail in there. And it's all good.
Yeah. I finally I love this because you finally get to kick the shit out of him. That feels good. And then I love that somebody, I don't know who did this, but the final time that you kick him is like, finish him. And we left, I saw that.
We left that in?
I left that in. I totally leave this in because this is totally awesome.
Oh man. That must have been like Wayne or Brian or somebody, one of the testers.
I think it's kind of cool. Reminds me of quick time events, although this time in adventure game.
Erica, no!
Maybe it
You
would
are
have been
not
nice
like
if
me.
they had given you some clues beforehand, like, oh, Adam shot him in the arm or something, so you would know it's a weak spot.
No!
How come the code doesn't work here?
You will be an angel among those like us. And you were right about my conscience, Keith.
Good job back there, Reed. I'll drop any charges against you. But this time, I can't shield you from internal affairs. You'll have to speak to them before coming back.
I know I'll have to deal with them still, but I'm not coming back.
Did this break you?
I've done some thinking, and I'm not cut out for this job. I've butted heads with the Bureau too many times to keep ignoring it. And it's too much of a reminder of my worst mistake. I shot John.
Learn from it. But don't dwell on it. I can't say that I'll miss you, but I meant what I said before. I was never your enemy.
I know. I don't hold it against you.
Stay out of trouble, Reed.
Of course I won't.
You finally caught him. Now what?
I don't know, Dad. I'm just glad that it's over.
I thought I had lost you too. You were here, but for a while now, you've been even further away than Scotty. And I've been no better.
Dad, there are a lot of things you don't know about me. You're right. For how close we used to be, we've practically been strangers since that night. I think we tried to cope with his death in our own separate ways, but we've never really tried together. I'd like to change that. I think it would make Scotty happy.
I think it would too.
Goodbye, Scotty. I think I owe you this.
I heard you're leaving the force. So who's gonna bring me donuts now?
I hear Sully knows a great place. Shouldn't you be in the hospital?
Hey, my mama said...
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Something like that. Look, I'm sorry, kiddo. I really am.
I guess we're even now. I don't blame you, John. Cordelia's power made her crazy. She was tortured over the things she saw, over her loss. I don't want to be that person. And I felt so close to the edge so many times.
So is that what you're doing? Trying to get it under control?
Maybe. For now, I just want to spend some time with my dad. And then, who knows? Rose told me that there are others out there like me, other Scions. If I can do anything to help those people, I must. Cordelia could have been saved. She didn't need to go down that path.
I'm gonna miss you, Skippy.
I'm sure you can find another rookie to train.
I'm not exactly the best role model out there, Erica.
You were the only person that tried to help Cordelia at all. You believed in me because of what happened with her. That says something. And besides, the only reason I'm the best is that you trained me. Hi, Sully. Lunch?
And here we go with the ending that we debated so much about.
Yeah, it went back and forth forever.
There was a version with his dad, and there was a version with John, and no, but John has to die. No, he doesn't have to die.
There was a version where she talks to Ghost John, right?
Oh, this is it.
No, isn't that one where she talks to him?
Oh, right.
At more length or something?
No, she talks here to Ghost John. Ghost, quote unquote, John. By the way, it's not a ghost. Stop saying that it's a ghost. That's not a ghost. This is not a ghost. So she was having a conversation with somebody, an image that she was projecting. Really, that's what's going on. I also like this scene. Mikhail actually was the one that told me about this. He was like, "Why don't you like?" So you have Erica at Scott's grave, and she's leaving a flower. Shouldn't she like take a flower back to Max's grave? And like, oh my god, that is just so perfect. How come I didn't think about that?
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really touching moment.
That is really good.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's this scene. I totally forgot about the scene. This
lunch
needed to happen. Hi, solid lunch. Here, look at the
the pink poodle.
Yes.
Was the lunch thing a joke?
Yes. You remember about episode 1? I
remember the joke going around the
Right.
Skype chats a whole bunch, but was that the last thing in the game is a direct result of those jokes?
Yes, it
That's
is.
super weird.
I was so affected by it that I had to like, oh man, actually this is perfect. I mean, this guy has been like.
But it makes sense because
Yes.
he does ask sincerely, but it seems like because I've only heard about lunch in the context of a joke, I had to actually stop and be like, oh, she did in half of the cases turn him down for lunch.
Yes, no, in every case.
Oh, that's right. She has two different ways of turning it down.
Well, she has the first time that he comes to him and he says, yeah, maybe later, or he says like, no, I want to do lunch with him. But then later again, he asks her, she comes to his desk and is like, hey, Sully, I need your help. Hey, lunch? No, stop it with lunch. We're not having lunch. Let's focus on this work that we have to do.
Yeah.
And so this is just like, hey, this is her way of apologizing. And there you go. That's Cognition. We had a lot of fun.
It's the whole thing. It was a year and a half in production. I guess 2 years from like
2 years from the
to
conception.
end.
Yeah, 2 years from the Kickstarter to end.
It's amazing because like when people talk about a game taking 2 years, it just sounds like that sounds long and hellish. Stepping back and realizing that took 2 years is like crazy to me because it didn't seem like a blur when people talk about, oh, it's a blur. Like I was aware of all kinds of stuff. It just was surprising how long it took to even just get episode 1 out, and then those 3-month gaps between the episodes.
I will throw out a spoiler. We have written a full treatment and outline for A Cognition 2. And I'm just going to say that it takes place mostly in London.
Okay, so there you have it. Now we know. But I guess it's still nothing set in stone, like it may happen, it may not happen.
Like a million times before, some joker up their nose, and he's just playing with his figurine. All our plans are laid, and though I know they'll change, I still hold you tight to me. All these tolls are paid. You always kept things to yourself. Don't need to please nobody else. Well, ain't that what you used to say? I wasted all that time, got up counting what was mine. Never thanked you for the gifts you gave. All our plans are laid, and though I know they'll change, I still hold you tight to me. All these tolls are paid when it's taken all away. Taken all away. Taken all away. Taken all away. Every day is just alone, and one less we have in store. And the things you think you own, you won't have them anymore. No, you leave me here alone. I won't make it if you do. For the rest I know I'm bound to lose. The one thing I'll take is you. Taking you away. Every day is just alone, and one less we have in store. And the things you think you own, you won't have them anymore. So you leave me here alone. I won't make it if you do. So the rest I know I'm bound to lose. The one thing I'll take is you away. Stick it in now, twist around my heart, pull it out. You were always somewhere else. You were always bigger than the world. The would spin
Okay, well, that's it. Oh, there was a little something here. You have to click somewhere specific. I forgot where. Nope, that's not it. Alright, well, unless this was HB, I'm not gonna try again. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching and see you next time.